Good morning, Manitoba. It is Thursday, September 11th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for being with us. Ainsley McPhail is out on the trails this morning. She's going to tell us about the network of Manitoba trails that are scattered throughout our province and tell you about the benefits of hitting those trails and also some of the investments that have been made in the future of those trails and what you can find out if you're looking for a really cool place to go hike. But first, your headlines. Police headquarters inquiry. Which high-profile individuals are likely to testify as the project is again in the spotlight? Friction among outreach groups. A city councillor has a plan to resolve their differences and move forward. And the phone becomes a popular kitchen tool. A new Canadian survey shows who's most likely to use food delivery apps. Bringing in Terry now. Another gorgeous night, another gorgeous day yesterday. Are we in for more?
No.
Oh, no, it's over.
Yeah, it really is. It's all coming to an end today, but we're needing some precipitation now after a few hot and sunny days, and it looks like that precipitation has come. Still clear enough to see the moon in its kind of waning phase now. I mean, obviously, it's not really waning. It's still fairly full, but you can see a little bit of cloud cover in front of it, so we're not getting those sharp edges. 15 degrees with south winds, 21 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 84%. With those clouds will come some rain, and we're already seeing that activity off through southwestern Manitoba. More than rain, lots of thunderstorms moving through this area and tracking further east, so we will likely find ourselves right in the path of that. We might get a little bit of sunshine to enjoy before the clouds and everything moves over us, but expect that it's going to be coming. And so there you can see into the afternoon is when we're more likely, but it could even just be later this morning that we're beginning to see some of that activity. Through northern Manitoba, things are looking on the clearer side for you. Many of you will still enjoy a bit of sunshine today. This system here in the south, it's not just for today, it's going to continue overnight. Another round in tomorrow morning, as you can see, with some trickle precipitation expected through the day. And it does kind of look like it's not going to clear out for the weekend as first anticipated earlier in the week. Now, as we're getting closer to the weekend and seeing how the models are going to play out, some heavier clouds could linger Saturday, even some storms picking up again Sunday. That could carry us into next week. But what we are still seeing is these well above seasonal temperatures all the way through.
Thanks, Terry. There's a good chance Sam Cates and Phil Schiegel will take the stand at the inquiry into the scandal-ridden Winnipeg Police Headquarters project. Day one of the proceedings got underway Wednesday, and legal counsel for the inquiry says she expects the former mayor and city CAO to testify. CTV's Jeff Keel reports.
Former Mayor Sam Cates and former City of Winnipeg CAO Phil Schiegel are expected to testify at the inquiry examining the downtown Winnipeg Police Headquarters project.
I am to consider the dealings of previously elected officials, including the mayor and senior employees of the City of Winnipeg, including the former CAO.
Day one of the proceedings got underway Wednesday, where Commissioner Garth Smorang outlined the 5 phases of the inquiry. Phase 1 will cover the redevelopment of the former Canada Post building, and Phase 2 will look at, quote, the money trail.
It will focus and examine the money spent by the city to complete the redevelopment project, including the amounts paid to the general contractor, Caspian Construction.
Lawyers representing Cates and Schiegel applied for standing for the redevelopment phase, meaning they would like to participate in that portion of the inquiry. The commissioner granted their requests. With that, Heather Leonoff, the legal counsel for the inquiry, said one can anticipate Cates and Schiegel will take the stand.
As you saw today, they both have counsel here today, and that is a good indication that both of them will be testifying.
The commissioner can call people to testify. The NDP government called the inquiry after the police headquarters project went tens of millions of dollars over budget. In court documents, RCMP alleged the city was the victim of a multi-million-dollar fraud. A civil court found Schiegel accepted a $327,000 bribe and ordered him to pay $1.1 million to the city. The city also settled 2 lawsuits it filed against Caspian Construction and others for $21.5 million. 30 witnesses are set to testify over 44 days at the inquiry, which has a budget of $2 million. The inquiry doesn't resume until February. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Others who also asked for and received standing, including the general contractor for the project, Caspian Construction, as well as the city and the Winnipeg Police Service. Police were on scene in Winnipeg's Fairfield Park neighborhood Wednesday night for an incident that appears to involve a school bus. This was the scene on Kesslar Road near Langley Bay. As you can see, police tape surrounded the bus and a minivan. The van showed considerable damage with broken windows, a burned out passenger side, and the entire front end nearly destroyed. The front bumper of the school bus also looked heavily damaged. A number of evidence markers were placed around the scene. CTV News reached out to police for more information, but they could not be reached for comment. And a 3-vehicle crash sent 3 people to hospital Wednesday morning. It happened at La Gimadière Boulevard and the South Perimeter Highway and left one of the vehicles flipped over on its roof. The crash closed westbound lanes to traffic for about 3 hours. The 3 people involved are all reported to be in stable condition. An update now to a story we first brought you Wednesday morning. City police say no charges will be laid after a group of students was chased through a park during gym class. According to the Louis Riel School Division, the students from Collège Jeanne Sauvé were out on a regular outing in Dakota Forest when someone came out of a tent and chased them. The individual did catch up with one student who received some injuries the division describes as scratches. A police spokesperson says following an investigation, it determined there's insufficient grounds to charge the person. A city councillor is hoping to mend fences between some community outreach groups after the city's controversial decision to provide funding to only one of them. St. Vital councillor Brian Mays has put forward a motion which aims to get the city, St. Boniface Street Links, and Main Street project all at the same table and chart a path forward where both groups can continue their work without stepping on each other's toes. Mays says it's unlikely to pass next week's Executive Policy Committee meeting, but he hopes it will start a conversation.
Marion Willis and company have got a pretty good track record with street links. Certainly been serving in my ward, and they're saying, look, we can actually do this without even taking money from the city. So my sense was, well, why not let them keep doing their thing, and then that'll save us some money in the east side, and we can put more money into with Main Street project elsewhere in the city.
All this comes after Main Street project was awarded the contract to provide outreach services to people experiencing homelessness citywide. The annual funding was previously split between 3 different groups. It's going to take longer than expected to replace a sewer line in Fort Garry that was the site of a massive spill a year and a half ago. This was the scene back in February 2024 after 2 pipes under the Fort Garry Bridge failed, ultimately spewing more than 200 million liters of raw sewage into the river. A replacement line was originally expected to be completed this fall, but it's been pushed back to June of next year, since much of the work can't be done in the winter. A city report says an emergency bypass system continues to operate without any issues. A new survey suggests the phone is gaining popularity as a kitchen tool.
We've seen more people using these apps compared to, say, 5 years ago. So the level of usage is actually intensifying. It's not slowing down at all.
A survey by the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University says 1 in 4 Canadians regularly use food delivery apps. Data collected in 2020, right before the pandemic, found that number was closer to 1 in 5. On the other hand, the survey also says more than half of Canadians are no longer using food delivery apps or have never used them at all. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are heading to Hamilton to try and break a 2-game losing skid against the Tiger Cats.
Pressure coming at Calera. They got him. Ball's out. Riders have it.
At Saturday's Banjo Bowl, Bombers starting quarterback Zach Caleros was injured. It was the Bombers' 2nd loss in a row to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The losses allowed the Riders to take a solid lead atop the CFL's West Division. Winnipeg still sits in 3rd. Head coach Mike O'Shea avoided specifics when asked about Caleros' condition at a news conference Wednesday.
Is Zach going to play again this year?
Yeah, I assume so.
The Bombers versus Tiger Cats is set to kick off Friday evening in Hamilton at 6 o'clock. And here's a look now what's going on at Confusion Corner. It looks like things are moving quite well here, and it's a smooth drive so far this morning. If you have any issues out on the streets, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live on the trails this morning. Ainsley, where are you?
Bison Butte Trail, Rochelle, just at Fort White Alive. Not quite open yet. It's a little bit dark for a lot of trail goers. There is 9 kilometers of trails at Fort White Alive. This one specifically has 6 kilometers, and it was built for the Canada Summer Games back in 2017 and their mountain biking championships. Now it's allowing people to go all the way down to Sterling Lion, and I hear the view when you get to the top of the hill is spectacular. Throughout the morning, we're chatting with Trails Manitoba. They have a conference coming up in October in Onanol discussing all things trails. There's over 800 walkable trails in our province, thousands of kilometers of trails that people can enjoy at our national parks. So we're going to be learning of the benefits of them and the business of them as well.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. If you want to go for a walk on a trail, you might want to do it earlier than later.
Yeah, not too early though, because then you'll be out in the dark like Ainsley is this morning. Not that we don't still have the light of the moon to guide us, which, as I mentioned, is kind of in its waning phase, but it's clear enough out here this morning that we can see the moon beautifully. And it smells a whole lot better than it did yesterday. The winds today, they're out of the south. They are a little bit strong and gusty, up to 31 clicks right now. 15 degrees. Talk about a mild start to your morning, or more than doubling seasonal low values. A normal low this time of year would be about 7. Pressure is rising and the humidity sits at 85%. But, I mean, if it weren't for the moon, we'd be out here in complete darkness. 3 minutes to 7 is when that sun will finally begin to rise. But we're not going to see a whole lot of it, because by the time it rises, we'll already start to see the clouds building up, which will continue to increase throughout the morning. And probably by midday or early afternoon, we'll likely see some storms. We've been keeping our eye on the satellite images. Southwestern Manitoba is already being hit with a lot of thunderstorm activity rolling through that corner of the province. Things might be a little bit brighter and clearer across much of northern Manitoba. Now, we will probably deal with that precipitation this afternoon, overnight, and still tomorrow, and maybe even off and on throughout the weekend. What's not going away? These well above seasonal temperatures. They're going to be lasting well into the middle of next week. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
It is 6:15. The Manitoba Museum has returned 19 artifacts to a First Nation in Saskatchewan. The repatriation to the Piapot First Nation is the largest in the museum's history. Artifacts include ceremonial pipes, a drum, an eagle fan, medicine pouches, as well as gifts the chief gave as thanks to the minister who conducted his daughter's marriage ceremony. As a thank you, the First Nation invited museum representatives to attend a repatriation ceremony. The museum says repatriation is an important institutional responsibility.
We are really honored to do this work, and we were really honored to be invited out to the celebration. It is a proud moment for museums to really take stock of what we're doing here and to really look at what speaks to our collections and what belongings really do rightfully need to go home.
The museum's repatriation policy began in 2007 following the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action and the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Prime Minister Mark Carney is rallying his caucus in the energy heartland of Edmonton ahead of the return to Parliament next week. The government is preparing to announce its major projects list today, and many, including Alberta's Premier, want to know what's going to make the cut. Here's CTV's Abigail Beeman.
Politics is like hockey. It doesn't build character, it reveals it.
More than a few hockey references as the Prime Minister addressed caucus about fall priorities in his hometown. Mark Carney referenced a budget with tough decisions. There are big questions about how he'll pay for big investments while spending less, and which Trudeau government commitments he'll keep.
This fall, we will release a new climate competitiveness strategy that focuses on results over objectives and investments over prohibitions. Third, We will remain relentlessly focused on bringing down costs for Canadians.
Carney said the first major projects list will be revealed Thursday.
I'm not going to comment on whether there's a pipeline on the list or not.
Speaking ahead of her meeting with the Prime Minister, Alberta's Premier said she wouldn't be worried if an oil pipeline isn't on the initial list.
You have to understand the list is going to be an evergreening list. It's not, oh my gosh, this is it, nothing else can be added. And so we've got a little bit of work to do to be able to get to an environment where oil companies want to expand their production.
He put a pipeline executive, Don Farrell, in charge. He put the project in Calgary. That's raising expectations in the Alberta government.
What the Liberals need to do in order to actually allow major projects to move forward is repeal C-69, repeal C-48, lift the production cap.
Though there has already been a thaw of relations between Ottawa and Western Canada, strained in the Trudeau years.
I think there's been a shift. Certainly there's a hopefulness.
Carney's meeting with Smith lasted a little more than 45 minutes. A federal source described it to CTV as productive. The Premier's office is not commenting. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Edmonton.
Today marks the 24th anniversary of the September 11th terror attack, and additional security measures are expected today following the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Additional security is expected at the World Trade Center site in New York. Every year, the names of the nearly 3,000 victims of September 11th are read out aloud. At the Pentagon in Virginia, a memorial service will honor the 184 service members and civilians killed, and a similar ceremony will honor the victims of Flight 93 near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Today is recognized as the National Day of Service in the U.S. An estimated 30 million Americans are expected to participate in some form of volunteer work today. Protesters planning to disrupt the Davis Cup qualifier between Canada and Israel in Halifax say a ban on spectators isn't enough. They're now asking for the broadcaster not to live stream it.
It's not a complete victory, but it's a victory. They have been forced to skulk in the shadows, right? No athlete wants to perform without spectators.
Tennis Canada announced Tuesday that the games between Canada and Israel will be played in a closed venue due to safety concerns. This comes after more than 400 Canadian athletes and scholars urged Tennis Canada to cancel the event over Israel's actions in Gaza and the West Bank. The CEO of Tennis Canada says the decision was disappointing, but ultimately was made for safety reasons. A Canadian rock band popular in the 90s is making a comeback. Econoline Crush is coming out with a new single and Canadian tour. For 3 decades, Econoline Crush has been a uniquely Canadian voice in the industrial rock genre. The band is releasing a new single, New Gold Magic, on September 26th, along with a Canadian tour that'll bring the band to the Park Theatre on November 17th. Tickets are available now at myparktheatre.com. Week 2 of the Winnipeg High School junior varsity season saw 4 games in action Wednesday. The River East Kodiaks hosted the Kildonan East Reavers. Home field advantage didn't prove the difference maker, with the Reavers pulling out the 22-7 win. The Crocus Plainsmen also fell on their home field to the Miles Mac Buckeyes with a final score of 26-12. The Vincent Massey Trojans were also victorious on the road, beating the St. Paul's Crusaders 20-16. And the Oak Park Raiders earned a decisive victory over the Dakota Lancers 48-18. And here's now what's happening in traffic at Portage at Polo Park. It looks like things are pretty good over here. No issues to tell you about at this point in the drive.
CTV Morning Live Traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
All right, we're looking through the Bath Fitter Live Eye now. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. So we will be seeing some clouds building up, but the sun will be rising just before 7 o'clock. And if you have it planned and timed out perfectly, you might get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine before those heavier clouds build up and bring the rain, although depending on where you're at, the rain has already started. Southwestern Manitoba, I'll show you the satellite image in a second. You are still sitting with these very mild temperatures, mid-teens throughout the southwest, and including us here in Winnipeg, 15 degrees right now. The only single digits that we're seeing is Portage, Sprague areas, 9 degrees, which is still above the seasonal low of 7. And even northern Manitoba, talk about a mild start for you with these low to mid-teens all throughout the region. Some places might see a little bit of precipitation up in that very far northeastern corner. Here in the southwest, these are the storms that I was talking about, rolling through southwestern Manitoba, making their way further to the east. So we will likely find ourselves in the path of that, but perhaps first, a little bit of sunshine to enjoy. Sending kids off to school, 16 degrees is our expected temperature, getting to a high of about 23, but by about midday, the clouds will have settled in, bringing the showers or thunderstorms that'll then continue throughout the afternoon, overnight, and still tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we're still waking up to a fair bit of activity with that precipitation, but we may see it again throughout the weekend or continuing into the start of next week, but also sticking around will be these well above seasonal temperatures. And our picture today out at Clearwater Lake. Talk about a stunning evening that must have been watching the sun setting. Thanks to Shantae for the photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at CTV.ca. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Good morning. A major escalation in Russia's war in Ukraine has that region on edge after Poland says it downed multiple Russian drones that crossed into its airspace. CTV's Mike LeCouture with what the Kremlin is saying and how the international community is responding.
Residents of an eastern Poland village describe hearing the roar of a plane falling from the sky, and then a massive boom shook their home. The house was destroyed, he said. The remnants of a suspected Russian drone remain in his yard as Polish authorities search several other sites where drones were found. Moscow claims there were no plans to target Poland. Many of them were shot down with the help of NATO allies, and talks between member countries were quickly called under an Article 4 consultation. Prime Minister Donald Tusk said his country is the closest it has been to open conflict since the Second World War. In a post on social media, U.S. President Donald Trump said, "What's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? Here we go." After a NATO meeting, the Secretary General said a full assessment of the incident is ongoing.
Allies expressed solidarity with Poland and denounced Russia's reckless behavior.
While rallying support for Poland in the European Parliament, Ursula von der Leyen told lawmakers the EU is now working on a 19th package of sanctions against Russia.
We're particularly looking at phasing out Russian fossil fuels faster. We're looking at the shadow fleet and at third countries.
Russia's defense ministry says it had not targeted Poland, but Prime Minister Tusk says there were 19 breaches of Polish airspace. And Canada's defense minister is casting doubt on the Kremlin's explanation.
I don't think we can take a lot of what comes from Russia right now at face value.
McGuinty wouldn't say if Canada will deploy more resources to the region, but Germany's foreign minister said NATO stands united and there must be a response to Russia's actions.
Coming up, we're live on the trail this morning at Fort White Alive. We're talking about Trails Manitoba and the many different places you can visit. Stay with us.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
15 degrees, still on the clearer side over Winnipeg and much of the southeast. We've got winds out of the south. 31 kilometers per hour is what they're gusting to, with the pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 85%. Seeing a lot of activity, though, through southwestern Manitoba, and already with some watches and warnings regarding those thunderstorms. So much of the southwest, nothing else issued for Manitoba, but those storms. They're looking pretty angry, and there they are on the satellite image. Coming in from the west and the south, And really, they've settled right into that southwestern corner, but they will be continuously tracking further to the east today, and we'll likely find ourselves then in the path of that. So expect some showers or thunderstorms later on into the day. And 23 degrees, I mean, we're at 15 right now. We'll still make some gains. We're well above seasonal. 7 degrees would be a normal low temperature, and then 19 a normal daytime high. But we're soaring well beyond that. We will deal with a breeze today, a wind out of the south gusting to 50 kilometers per hour, and still with those south winds overnight with a chance of showers and thunderstorms continuing. Dropping down to 17, so remaining 10 degrees above seasonal, and another warm one tomorrow, but a soggy one too, especially through the morning hours. We might see that activity starting to taper off into the afternoon, and maybe a few peaks of sunshine then off and on through the weekend. What we will notice though is that these weekend temperatures and well into the middle of next week are remaining well above normal.
Thanks, Terry. Motorists traveling between Winnipeg and Carman, take note, a bridge on Highway 3 is closed. The province has closed the bridge over the Morris River just south of Brunkhild. It says the structure is unstable and needs to be replaced, and as the emergency closure is necessary to ensure safety for motorists. Traffic is being directed to Highways 13 and 2. No word on how long the closure will remain in effect. A First Nation in eastern Manitoba is banning moose hunters from entering its ancestral lands, and with the hunting season just days away, it's raising concerns in the outfitter industry. With more, here's CTV's Danton Unger.
Bloodvein First Nation says non-Indigenous moose hunters are not welcome on its ancestral lands this hunting season.
We have implemented a moose hunting ban in our traditional territories.
Last month, the First Nation set up this check stop south of the Bloodvein River, erecting these signs identifying the area's traditional hunting, fishing, and trapping territory for band members only. It comes amid concerns about the moose population, which community members say is declining. While the province says the population is stable, Bloodvein Chief Lisa Young says she wants to keep it that way.
We are concerned that the government of Manitoba has issued hundreds of moose tags this year without consulting with us, much less seeking our consent.
The province says it's issued 175 moose hunting tags this season for this highlighted region on the east side of Lake Winnipeg, which includes Bloodvein First Nation. With these tags, it estimates there will be a harvest of 41 moose.
You do not have the right to issue licenses to hunt in our ancestral lands and territories.
On Wednesday, the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs called on the province to stop issuing these tags in the area, but that has some concerned.
We're a $1 billion tourism industry for Manitoba.
Don Lamont with the Manitoba Lodges and Outfitters Association says the land around the First Nation is Crown land and says hunters should be allowed to hunt there.
The First Nations want to restrict non-Indigenous hunters on their treaty land. They can do that. That is not an issue. And we won't go near that.
Natural Resources and Indigenous Futures Minister Ian Bushy tells CTV News in a statement, "We understand the concerns being raised and the importance of ensuring that moose populations remain stable and sustainable. Our commitment is to continue working in partnership with Indigenous communities and hunters."
If we do not act, it is clear no one else will protect our rights.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
In a statement to CTV News, Natural Resources and Indigenous Futures Minister Ian Bushy says the province is in an ongoing conversation with Chief and Council of Bloodvein First Nation, as well as the hunting community. He adds the province is committed to working in partnership with Indigenous communities and hunters to support long-term sustainability of moose populations. High tensions outside a Toronto International Film Festival screening of a documentary telling the story of one man's actions on October 7th, 2023.
People that are a part of the Zionist propaganda machine have very crafty answers to describe what they're doing and why it's so noble and humanitarian, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the politics of the region at the time.
The movie follows former Israeli General Noam T-Bone, who on October 7th, 2023, got a phone call from his son saying they were under attack. The film then tells the story of what the retired general did to reunite with his son and grandchildren. Outside Roy Thomas Hall, protesters clashed, and inside, some audience members could be heard booing during a Q&A that brought up Israel's offensive in Gaza. The film was originally selected for TIFF before being delisted a few weeks ago and then put back in the lineup just before the festival. The best in African film will be on full display here in Winnipeg next week.
If you want to believe that some type of mythical beast is somehow connected to these crimes, then go ahead. There's a killer out there, and he's a man.
And that's a trailer for Sabata, the Beast, one of more than 20 films you can expect to see at this year's African Movie Festival in Manitoba. It represents cinematic work of studios or directors from across the African continent and range from horror and comedy to documentaries and short films. And that's not all.
We have Manitoba Gaze, which is a festival within a festival, specifically targeted at Manitoba creatives. So we will be screening about 23, 24 films at Manitoba Gaze from local young filmmakers.
The festival runs September 15th to the 21st at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. You can head to the WAG's website or am-fm.ca for more information and tickets. And here's a look now what's happening in traffic along Main and Broadway. So far, it looks like a smooth drive this morning. No issues to tell you about at this point. If you see any problems out there, though, please let us know. And let's look now at the gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.44. The provincial average is $1.36. In Winnipeg, the average is also $1.36. The lowest price in the city is $1.26. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's outside this morning. Beautiful sky behind you. It's a perfect morning to go for a walk on a trail. Good morning.
Don't we look great? I just said to cameraman Kenny, can you flip it around so we can see what we look like? Because I just know it's stunning. We also have a couple... I shouldn't be giving away our secrets, but we also have a couple vehicles emitting light, so we look this awesome. Dave Turnier joins us now. Tim Coffin on my left. We're from Trails Manitoba, and they're going to tell us all about how trails are connecting so many Manitobans. And when I say so many Manitobans, the trails are really being utilized.
They are, yeah. Thanks, Ainsley. Yeah, trails connect Manitobans all over the place, whether it's, out east in the White Shell, out western Manitoba, up in the north. Yeah, estimated 900,000 to 1 million Manitobans use trails every year. So it's a highly, highly, highly sought after recreational infrastructure and something that we're just always thrilled to talk about and be a part of.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about those connections, what does it look like in practice? Because that's a lot of people.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great question, Ainsley. So it is a lot of people, but it's also a significant network that we have here in Manitoba. So we look at trails that they connect people, they connect communities, they connect diverse landscapes that we have throughout the province. So we're very lucky to have that. Yeah, it's a great time to be outdoors.
Mm-hmm. And we're standing in a piece of that right now, actually. And they're used in so many different ways. So talk about what we're looking at right now and the other various ways as well.
Yeah, well, to reference a few folks that just came by, it is early morning, so most people are probably, cozy, comfy at home with their morning coffee, but we saw a few trail runners out here just a few moments ago. And here where we are at the north end of the Fort White Alive trails and the Bison Butte trails, loads of walkers, loads of runners, loads of mountain bikers on the mountain bike course out here. Yeah, it gets used by so many people, and not just recreational users too. I mean, Manitoba is proud to have a lot of high-level competitive athletes when it comes to the trails. I mean, actually just recently at the Canada Summer Games in Newfoundland, a Portage La Prairie cyclist took gold in the cross-country mountain bike event. So, Manitoba punches way above its weight class when it comes to even the athletic side of how trails are used. So they're truly used by, mom and dad with a stroller all the way up to that high level. So.
Well, even when that cold white stuff hits the ground, there's still people out here. It's pretty awesome to see. Yeah. Back to you at the station.
Well, it's beautiful to wake up to, I'm sure. Thank you, Ainsley. Out on the rooftop now, that sky is so gorgeous.
It is stunning. I'm looking off to the east right now and seeing these gorgeous, kind of pink and fuchsia clouds. Absolutely stunning start to the day. A little bit breezy, but certainly well above seasonal as far as where these temperatures are sitting. Right now, 15 degrees is where we begin, which is well above seasonal. 7 degrees a normal low, and we're near doubling that or more. South winds, they're gusty at times to 31 kilometers per hour. With the pressure rising, the humidity is sitting at 85%. Not much happening here in the southeast at this time, but southwestern Manitoba is waking up under severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. Very active weather there with the thunderstorms rolling over that corner of the province currently, and it will be tracking its way further to the east. Further to the north, plenty of sunshine is expected today. It hasn't even started to rise yet, though. At about 3 minutes to 7 here in Winnipeg will be sunrise. But northern Manitoba, central Manitoba, you'll be seeing lots of that sun today, feeling the warmth of it. Here in the south, we might see the heavier clouds building up and the storms rolling over us, but we're still in for these well above seasonal temperatures. Low to mid-20s across the entire province today. Just a lot clearer and sunnier across the north. Stormy here in the south. It'll continue then overnight, and still tomorrow storms will continue to finish off the work week. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Looking at the early markets, futures are pointing to a mixed open on Wall Street. Dow futures are down 220 points. NASDAQ futures are up this morning by 6 points. S&P futures are also up by 19 points. The Canadian dollar is seeing a slight dip this morning. Overseas, the Hang Seng is down 113, while Japan's Nikkei is up strong at 534 points. Good morning, it is 6:45. After 2 months away from their homes, residents of a northern Manitoba town will be allowed to go home this week. The town of Leaf Rapids is lifting its wildfire evacuation order Friday morning at 7 a.m. The community of roughly 350 were ordered to leave July 8th after a fire jumped the Churchill River and entered the town. It resulted in the loss of one home and several abandoned buildings. If you often order out on a delivery app, you're not alone. A new study is finding Canadians are choosing to cook less and order meals via apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats more than ever before. CTV's Joseph Bernacki examines why more people are opting for meal deliveries at home.
Not delivered to my house.
Marcus Marquez enjoys ordering meals to go on dining apps at all hours of the day.
Honestly, it depends on what's open, especially late at night. Like I usually order around midnight or an early like 1 a.m. something like that.
Marquez says on average he uses meal app delivery services twice a month, but sometimes more often. And he's not alone. A new study from the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University finds more Canadians are ordering their meals to go right from home.
This is absolutely a lot of people's new kitchen right there.
Food expert Sylvain Charlebois recently led a research study surveying more than 3,000 people about their use of dining apps like Uber Eats and DoorDash. The study compared data collected in 2020 to new data gathered this summer. Charlebois says it shows more people are opting for online meal deliveries.
Back in 2020, just a few weeks before COVID, 1 in 5 Canadians were actually using food delivery apps on a regular basis. Now it's 1 in 4.
According to the survey, Manitoba ranks 4th in the country at 25.6%. Charlebois says more people are looking for convenience at the cost of skills learned while cooking.
They're looking to buy time, essentially. And the other issue, of course, is food literacy. A lot of people just either can't cook or don't want to cook at all.
Hearing less people are cooking is a big concern for nutritionist Andrea Cates.
When we just order things blindly and we're not looking at the ingredients list and we're not looking at the nutrition elements of that food, we're sort of leaving it up to chance with how that's going to make us feel.
Despite using food apps regularly, Marquez says he still makes time to get food the old-fashioned way.
I cook a lot. Yeah, like a couple days. I made breakfast today. Yeah, I do it a lot.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
We're now hearing from a Wisconsin kayaker who faked his own death so he could start a new life with a woman in another country.
Everybody's a little bit perplexed as to why you took this path.
Yes, in the end it came down to the feeling of failure in about every aspect of your life.
Ryan Borg-Wart, who was once known as Green Lake's missing kayaker, told investigators during a 3-hour recorded conversation how he faked his drowning and ran away to Eastern Europe to meet a woman he had met online. During the interview, Borg-Wart described his late-night kayak ride, an elaborate plan, explaining how he used an inflatable boat to reach shore, rode an e-bike, and then took a Greyhound to the Canadian border. He eventually made his way to Georgia in Eastern Europe, staying there until he received an email from detectives. He pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor obstruction charge, and last month a judge sentenced him to 3 months in custody. Anticipation is building for a new movie called The Long Walk, which hits theaters Friday. The movie was shot here in Manitoba, and a local cat has a role in the film.
It took me a while to realize the truth of this. This is walking.
That eyeless cat in the trailer is Dory, a rescue from Steinbach. A friend of Dory's owner trains animals for movies and knew the production was looking for a cat with either one eye or no eyes for a scene. Dory, who was born without eyes, was perfect for the role.
We were actually only on set for one full day, and she did like literally everything that they asked her to do. It was, or not that they asked her, but like, yeah, she did everything that they needed her to do, and they were actually shocked that she was so awesome. Granted, her role was just sitting on a mailbox, but most cats wouldn't just sit there idly. And
Neufeld says Dory was treated well by the crew, given shade when she wasn't needed on set, and the cast and crew took time to pet her and pose for photos. You can see how it all turned out when The Long Walk opens in theaters tomorrow. This is a must-see for fans of David Bowie. The V&A Museum in London is about to open an exhibit dedicated to the starman. On display are costumes, pictures, and handwritten notes from throughout his career. Some of these notes hint at a couple of musicals Bowie was working on, but never made it to the stage. One was about 18th century art, the other inspired by the novel 1984. The exhibit opens next week. And here's what's happening now on McPhillip Street. It looks like things are picking up over here and moving quite well. No issues to tell you about at this point.
Yeah, try not to be distracted by that gorgeous sunrise this morning. Well, soon. But the glow of it, we're already starting to enjoy. 15 degrees, south winds, 31 kilometers per hour is what they're gusting to right now. With the pressure rising, the humidity is sitting at 85%. That pinkish velvety or violety, I suppose it's velvety too, violety hue that we're seeing outside this morning is quite beautiful. We're still on the clearer side here in the southeast. Southwestern Manitoba, things are very, very active with the showers and thunderstorms that have already begun coming up from south of the border and further west, closing in, and we'll find them moving over the southeast as well. Across northern Manitoba, the very northeastern part of the province might see some showers or thunderstorms up around the Churchill area, or maybe even a few extra clouds in places like Gillam, Thompson. More into the central parts of the province, clear and sunny. And even where you might have those few extra clouds, these temperatures are well above seasonal, pushing up into the low to mid 20s in the northeast. And here you can see a well above seasonal day when around 17 degrees would be a normal high in places like Flin Flon, the Pas. Enjoy all of that sunshine today. You might get around of precipitation for tomorrow up north. Here in the south, we're getting it today, but it could still continue overnight and through tomorrow with showers or thunderstorms on tap. These temperatures, though, as I've been saying, are still well above normal, nowhere near as hot as it was yesterday or the day before. We were really feeling the heat, but still 19 degrees would be a normal daytime high. Further to the east of us, conditions will likely be a little bit clearer, at least for today. You could get those storms overnight and through tomorrow. We've got them overnight and through tomorrow as well, and still some heavier clouds Saturday. Could get stormy again as we're wrapping up the weekend and looking ahead to next week, but it stays mild all throughout.
Thanks, Terry. The FBI said Wednesday night that a person of interest who was in custody has been released after a fatal shooting that killed a highly influential conservative activist, once again exposing the dark side of America's deep and divisive political fault lines. CTV's Joy Malbin reports.
It was an open-air event, a debate on a Utah college campus. Witnesses say Charlie Kirk, a conservative activist, was asked about mass shootings when he was fatally shot in the neck.
Oh, my God. Go, run, run. Whoa.
Panic and chaos in the crowd as students ran for cover.
You just hear the gunshot and I'm sorry. You just see his neck just like open up and there's just like so much blood that just came out. It was horrible.
Police believe the shot was fired from a higher location about 200 yards away. This, says the governor, was a targeted killing.
It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination.
Kirk was a massive figure in the MAGA movement, sometimes called the Trump Whisperer, leading an army of young conservatives key to Donald Trump's election success. He was even given a prime speaking spot at the Republican convention.
Good evening. I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA.
Radio host, podcaster, the voice of young conservatives, he was controversial and said he was no stranger to death threats. tackling subjects like transgender rights, questioning vaccines, promoting Christian values. Kirk had the ear of President Trump on down.
He's done something that is just incredible for somebody really of his age.
The president lashed out at political violence while praising Kirk.
I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law. Charlie was the best of America.
A husband, a father, the president ordered flags lowered for Charlie Kirk as another act of political violence as politicians from both sides of the aisle demanding America do better.
Our nation is broken. Nothing I say can unite us as a country. Nothing I can say right now can fix what is broken.
After this latest shocking act of political violence, this is a country in mourning. The question now is, will it lead to a national period of soul searching or fan the flames of political discord?
There's something special happening in parts of Halifax this week. Vibrant new art displays are lighting up the streets, breathing new life into some of the dark sides of the city. Here's CTV's Paul Hollingsworth.
With summer winding down and a dreary winter not far off,
I'm working on a 128-foot mural.
There is a team effort underway to brighten and beautify this area.
To make the small city that we have come alive.
Mural Jam is a showcase of paint and vibrant colors, with murals popping up on most street corners in downtown Dartmouth.
A bunch of artists come into town, sprucing up some walls, making the town look a bit more beautiful.
Some of the murals are massive, looming large, stunning works of art. Others are designed to brighten up driveways and alleys.
I think it's uplifting. People really seem to like it. I think it can take kind of desolate, forgot about areas and kind of brighten them and bring them as a space where you don't feel uncomfortable to go anymore.
This paint is also heavy duty and made to last. These murals should survive the rough weather and be around for years to come. Welcome news for people who live in this historic community known for its narrow streets and older buildings.
I love it. We need more of it. We need a revitalization of the downtown, and it's happening.
When the artistic work is completed this weekend, these murals will be on display as a finished product. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with your 7 o'clock headlines. Stay with us. On Thursday, September 11th, you're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, coming up on Sunday, the Terry Fox Run is happening in many different communities, not just here in Manitoba, but across the country and around the world. So we're going to find out a little bit more about the 45th Terry Fox Run, what it's going to look like this year, and where that money is going. But first, your headlines. Taking the stand, who will likely testify at the Winnipeg Police Headquarters inquiry? Plus, heading home, which items were returned to a Saskatchewan First Nation? And mending fences, how a city councillor is trying to find a path forward for 2 local outreach groups. Bringing in Terry now with a look at weather on this Thursday. It's going to be a lot different today than it's been over the last few days. We're going to see some sun though, right? Starting off?
Yeah, I mean, the sun is up now, so whatever we get before the storms roll in, but it won't be long before we begin to see the clouds. There's a look off to the east, and yes, the sunrise has been a stunning one. 15 degrees with the south winds, gusting to 31 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, and the humidity sitting at 85%. Where you kind of missed out on sunrise was southwestern Manitoba. That's where the storms have been pretty active this morning. Come on back here now, folks. Here we go. I want to show you these warnings and watches through that southwestern corner of the province where the storms have been raging this morning. What you're seeing in parts of Saskatchewan is the air quality warning. It's been a while since we've had to talk about this smoke. Thankfully, not in Manitoba. We'll see where that ends up moving to. But yes, today it is these storms, and there they are on the satellite image moving through the southwestern part of the province. Showers, thunderstorms that are going to be tracking further to the east and will likely find our way find ourselves right in the path of them. So there's a look through the afternoon and much of southern Manitoba. Parts of the northeast, I mentioned that too, that you might see a little bit of scattered precipitation, but many places throughout north and central Manitoba will enjoy sunshine, clear conditions today. And even where the storms or the rain might be hitting, the temperature values are still expected to be well above seasonal. Here's a look into the evening time. It's still going to continue overnight and through tomorrow, waking up with some heavier clouds and some precipitation over the south. Northern Manitoba, another sunny one for you. It will eventually clear out, but it's kind of touch and go. We'll then see more of that activity developing again as we're moving into the weekend. So that possibility of scattered showers or thunderstorms is really off and on for as many days as we can see here, but also continuing for as many days as we can see are these well above seasonal temperatures when 19 is normal for this time of year. And our art today is all thanks to 9-year-old Aria. Thank you very much for this, and we'd love to see what you're working on. Draw, color, or paint. Send that picture to us to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. And there's a good chance Sam Cates and Phil Schiegel will take the stand at the inquiry into the scandal-ridden Winnipeg Police Headquarters project. Day one of the proceedings got underway Wednesday, and legal counsel for the inquiry says she expects the former mayor and city CAO to testify. CTV's Jeff Keel reports.
Former Mayor Sam Cates and former City of Winnipeg CAO Phil Schiegel are expected to testify at the inquiry examining the downtown Winnipeg Police Headquarters project.
I am to consider the dealings of previously elected officials, including the mayor and senior employees of the City of Winnipeg, including the former CAO.
Day one of the proceedings got underway Wednesday, where Commissioner Garth Smorang outlined the 5 phases of the inquiry. Phase 1 will cover the redevelopment of the former Canada Post building, and Phase 2 will look at, quote, the money trail.
It will focus and examine the money spent by the city to complete the redevelopment project, including the amounts paid to the general contractor, Caspian Construction.
Lawyers representing Cates and Schiegel applied for standing for the redevelopment phase, meaning they would like to participate in that portion of the inquiry. The commissioner granted their requests. With that, Heather Leonoff, the legal counsel for the inquiry, said one can anticipate Cates and Schiegel will take the stand.
As you saw today, they both have counsel here today, and that is a good indication that both of them will be testifying.
The commissioner can call people to testify. The NDP government called the inquiry after the police headquarters project went tens of millions of dollars over budget. In court documents, RCMP alleged the city was the victim of a multi-million-dollar fraud. A civil court found Schiegel accepted a $327,000 bribe and ordered him to pay $1.1 million to the city. The city also settled 2 lawsuits it filed against Caspian Construction and others for $21.5 million. 30 witnesses are set to testify over 44 days at the inquiry, which has a budget of $2 million. The inquiry doesn't resume until February. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Others who also asked for and received standing included the general contractor for the project, Caspian Construction, as well as the city and the Winnipeg Police Service. The Manitoba Museum has returned 19 artifacts to a First Nation in Saskatchewan. The repatriation to the Piapot First Nation is the largest in the museum's history. Artifacts include ceremonial pipes, a drum, an eagle fan, medicine pouches, as well as gifts the chief gave as thanks to the minister who conducted his daughter's marriage ceremony. As a thank you, the First Nation invited museum representatives to attend a repatriation ceremony. The museum says repatriation is an important institutional responsibility.
We are really honored to do this work, and we were really honored to be invited out to the celebration. It is a proud moment for museums to really take stock of what we're doing here and to really look at what speaks to our collections and what belongings really do rightfully need to go home.
The museum's repatriation policy began in 2007 following the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action and the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. A city councillor is hoping to mend fences between some community outreach groups after the city's controversial decision to provide funding to only one of them. St. Vital councillor Brian Mays has put forward a motion which aims to get the city, St. Boniface Street Links and Main Street project all at the same table and chart a path forward where both groups can continue their work without stepping on each other's toes. Mays says it's unlikely to pass next week's Executive Policy Committee meeting, but he hopes it will start a conversation.
Marion Willis and company have got a pretty good track record with street links. Certainly been serving in my ward, so. And they're saying, look, we can actually do this without even taking money from the city. So my sense was, well, why not let them keep doing their thing? And then that'll save us some money in the east side, and we can put more money into with Main Street project elsewhere in the city.
All this comes after Main Street Project was awarded the contract to provide outreach services to people experiencing homelessness citywide. The annual funding was previously split between 3 different groups. It is going to take longer than expected to replace a sewer line in Fort Garry that was the site of a massive spill a year and a half ago. This was the scene back in February 2024 after 2 pipes under the Fort Garry Bridge failed, ultimately spewing more than 200 million liters of raw sewage into the river. A replacement line was originally expected to be completed this fall, but it's been pushed back to June of next year since much of the work can't be done in the winter. A city report says an emergency bypass system continues to operate without any issues. There's heartbreak in Richmond Hill, Ontario, where 1 child is dead after an SUV ran into a daycare.
Your heart stops when you hear things like this. I mean, there's just it's just an unimaginable situation and tragedy.
At around 3 p.m. yesterday, the SUV went through the window at First Roots Early Education Academy. At the time, there were more than 100 children and staff inside. 6 other children and 3 adults were injured. Police say the driver of the SUV was a man in his 70s. It's not clear if he was picking someone up or had any connection to the daycare. As of right now, the driver is not facing any charges. Today marks the 24th anniversary of the September 11th terror attack, and additional security measures are expected today following the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Additional security is expected at the World Trade Center site in New York. Every year, the names of the nearly 3,000 victims of September 11th are read out loud. At the Pentagon in Virginia, a memorial service will honor the 184 service members and civilians killed, and a similar ceremony will honor the victims of Flight 93 near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Today is recognized as the National Day of Service in the U.S. An estimated 30 million Americans are expected to participate in some form of volunteer work today. Week 2 of the Winnipeg High School junior varsity season saw 4 games in action Wednesday. The River East Kodiaks hosted the Kildonan East Reavers. Home field advantage didn't prove the difference maker, with the Reavers pulling out the 22-7 win. The Crocus Plainsmen also fell on their home field to the Miles Mack Buckeyes with a final score of 26-12. The Vincent Massey Trojans were also victorious on the road, beating the St. Paul's Crusaders 20-16. And the Oak Park Raiders earned a decisive victory over the Dakota Lancers 48-18. And here's what's happening now on the Provencher Bridge. It looks like things are starting off really well over here. Beautiful start to your day. If you see any problems out on the streets, though, please let us know. And let's go back to Ainsley McPhail now, who's live on the trails this morning, checking things out in the great outdoors. Good morning.
Rochelle, we're at Fort White Alive, and I'm bird watching. But they're all in V's. Where are they going? Wait, come back. They're not listening. We're chatting with Trails Manitoba. October 4th, they have a conference, and they want people to go. They're learning about the logistical side of trails and all that goes into it. It takes a lot to maintain these trails, thousands of them in kilometers throughout Manitoba and the various national parks. So stay with us as we learn about that maintenance. We learn about the economic value. We learn about just how many people, thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people are utilizing the trails, and how they're great to get out in the great outdoors, like you mentioned, and get active even in the winter time. But for now, I'm just gonna tell our bird friends to stay.
Absolutely, don't go just yet. Thank you, Ainsley. Out on the rooftop now, I've noticed some of the birds flying, but I think they're just flocking to the fields to fatten up for the flight down south.
Well, that's an optimistic way of looking at it, Rochelle, but inevitably what follows that will be.
I know.
Yes. But here's the thing about it. I mean, we had that little blast of cool weather last week, and a lot of people thought that, oh, this is the end. But then all of a sudden this week, we were up at 28, 27 degrees over the past couple of days, and still with these well above seasonal temperatures expected to continue through the weekend and even into next week, too. Now, it's not going to be quite as hot, and it's also not going to be quite as sunny. We're already seeing some heavier clouds building over the city right now. 15 degrees, though. Those temperatures well above normal. 7 degrees would be a seasonal low, so we're near doubling that or more. South winds, they're 23 kilometers per hour, with the pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 83%. We're a lot closer, in fact, to a seasonal daytime high than what a normal, we're closer than what a normal low would be. I think that's what I was trying to say. I don't know where that thought went. It started coming out the mouth and then it just trailed off. Like you can expect this precipitation to trail off sometime tomorrow, but through the afternoon it will build up. We've got showers and thunderstorms that are already raging through the southwest. They'll be moving over southeastern Manitoba later on today, overnight and into tomorrow morning, still with that precipitation, and then yes, it will taper off into the afternoon tomorrow. For central and northern Manitoba, many of you will have clear, sunny, bright conditions expected for you today, and no matter where you are with the rain or the sun, you can expect these above seasonal temperatures to last through the weekend and well into next week.
Thanks, Terry. Time now to check in on our question of the day. Though the weather has been more summer-like this week, we'd like to know, now that September is here, what's your favorite fall tradition and what it might be? Just a quick reminder, our question of the day has moved from Twitter, so please text your answer and please make sure you include your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. And it's time for our Pet of the Week reveal, and today we're saluting Lexi. Melissa tells us Lexi is a 12-year-old golden doodle who loves going for convertible rides. She joins the family for ice cream on Sundays in their 1950 Chevy convertible. Melissa says Lexi just loves being together with the family. Congratulations, Lexi. You're a Pet of the Week, and we love the hat on you. Looks good. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to Pet of the Week at ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday between 6 and 9 to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with more news and some entertainment as well. Stay with us. Good morning, it is 7:16. Police were on scene in Winnipeg's Fairfield Park neighborhood Wednesday night for an incident that appears to involve a school bus. This was the scene on Kessler Road near Langley Bay. As you can see, police tape surrounded the bus and a minivan. The van showed considerable damage with broken windows, a burned out passenger side, and the entire front end nearly destroyed. The front bumper of the school bus also looked heavily damaged. A number of evidence markers were found and placed around the scene. CTV News reached out to police for more information, but they could not be reached for comment. And a three-vehicle crash sent 3 people to hospital Wednesday morning. It happened at La Gimadière Boulevard and the South Perimeter Highway and left one of the vehicles flipped over on its roof. The crash closed westbound lanes to traffic for about 3 hours. The 3 people involved are all reported to be in stable condition. An update now to a story we first brought you Wednesday morning. City police say no charges will be laid after a group of students was chased through a park during gym class. According to the Louis Riel School Division, the students from Collège Jeanne Sauvé were on a regular outing in Dakota Forest when someone came out of a tent and chased them. The individual did catch up with one student who received some injuries the division describes as scratches. A police spokesperson says following an investigation, it determined there's insufficient grounds to charge the person. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are heading to Hamilton to try and break a 2-game losing skid against the Tiger Cats.
Pressure coming in. Calera, they got him. Ball's out. Riders.
At Saturday's Banjo Bowl, Bombers starting quarterback Zach Caleros was injured. It was the Bombers' second loss in a row to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The losses allowed the Riders to take a solid lead atop the CFL's West Division. Winnipeg still sits in 3rd. Head coach Mike O'Shea avoided specifics when asked about Caleros' condition at a news conference Wednesday.
Is Zach going to play again this year?
Yeah, I assume so.
The Bombers versus Tiger Cats is set to kick off Friday evening in Hamilton at 6 o'clock. And here's a look now what's going on in traffic. on the St. James Bridge. It looks like things are moving well over here. Look at the gorgeous foliage out there. It's changing color. It's so beautiful. If you see any problems in traffic, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Joni Mitchell and Drake will be celebrated with special achievement honors at this year's SOCAN Awards.
Sometimes we laugh and sometimes we cry, but I guess you know now.
Drake will get his 4th consecutive Songwriter of the Year award in the performer category, recognizing, quote, his status as one of music's most defining voices. And Joni Mitchell will receive the Cultural Impact Award for her song, Both Sides. Now, organizers say that song left a mark on music and inspired generations. The SOCAN Awards will be handed out September 24th in Toronto. Get ready for an afternoon of family fun when a beloved local entertainer takes the stage in Winnipeg this winter.
The cat came back the very next day. The cat.
Oh yeah, Fred Penner and the Cat's Meow Band will return to delight adults and children alike at the Burton Cummings Theatre December 14th. Tickets for Fred Penner's concert of the season go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster. And that's not the only holiday show to tell you about.
I used to think that's what I was, but now this lying hurts too much.
Acclaimed Canadian artist Serena Ryder is on her Merry Myths tour. Her show is inspired by folklore and holiday traditions from around the world and blends holiday classics with Ryder's soulful originals. The Juno Award winner takes the stage at the Club Regent Event Center on December 4th. Tickets go until Friday. Visit serenaryder.com.
All right, a look now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. How stunning is that? Absolutely gorgeous. The sun, the pretty pinkish hues that we're seeing out there. And then it's all going to turn gray and stormy before long. We'll continue to see these clouds building up. And when you see the activity moving through the southwest, you'll see what I'm talking about, what's coming our way. 15 degrees, though, is where we begin in Winnipeg and in Brandon, Dauphin. If you're not there, you might be at 16 degrees. For Melita and Roblin. Everybody is at least in the low to mid-teens, except for Sprague, coming in at 9 degrees. But even that is above seasonal. 7 degrees would be a normal low temperature, so you're still a couple above that. Northern Manitoba, mid-teens for you to kick off your morning. Maybe a few extra clouds over here in the far northeast. Otherwise, mainly sunny conditions all across northern Manitoba. It's going to be beautiful and bright today. It's here in the south that the activity will be rolling. And you can see right now the storms that are moving through the southwest and how they're tracking further to the east, just about to roll over Portage-La Prairie and eventually coming for us here in Winnipeg as well. And once they begin, expect them to then continue overnight and through tomorrow. Still right now, just some heavier clouds, and we'll continue to watch them stacking up. 16 degrees expected into the 8 o'clock hour as we're sending kids to school. And by the time they're coming home again, 23 degrees, still well above normal. 19 would be a seasonal daytime high. It's not going to be as hot as it's been, but still above normal. But those storms will likely be developing into the afternoon or midday, and the winds increasing as well. Overnight and through tomorrow, we'll still be dealing with those storms. Eventually, they'll taper off, and maybe a few glimmers of sunshine, maybe Friday afternoon or more so on Saturday. But still, you'll see the heavier clouds kind of sticking around, and that threat of precipitation will continue for the next stretch of days. But the mild temperatures will also be sticking around. A beautiful shot of the sun setting out at Clearwater Lake. Thank you to Shantae for this photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. A scary attraction will return early next month, and we want you to join in on the fun. Heebie-Jeebies features over 1 kilometer of mazes, photo ops, carnival games, and more than 140 characters and 150 animatronic scares. We're giving away tickets for a special night on Friday, October 3rd for you and 3 friends or family members, where you can join our friends from Virgin 1031. To enter the contest page on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, enter your details, and don't forget the keyword, boo. Good luck. Pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli protesters gathered outside the screening of a controversial documentary at the Toronto International Film Festival Wednesday. Directed by a Canadian, it's about a retired Israeli general trying to save his family during the October 7th Hamas attacks. Here's CTV's Sean Leafon.
Protests outside Roy Thompson Hall for the world premiere of a documentary telling the story of one man's actions on October 7th, 2023. That man, former Israeli General Noam T-Bone.
And I'm going to use all my experience.
The film The Road Between Us tells the story of how T-Bone got a phone call from his son on the morning of October 7th saying they were under attack.
It was a shock at the beginning, but immediately I felt that I need to take an action and to do whatever I can in order to save my family.
T-Bone was in Tel Aviv while his son was in a kibbutz in Gaza, 85 kilometers away. The film telling the story of what the retired general did that day to reunite with his son and grandchildren, fighting through ambushes and saving more people along the way.
And I'm very proud that we didn't save only our family, but we saved everyone who we met.
The film was originally selected for TIFF before being delisted a few weeks ago and then put back in the lineup just before the festival. Canadian filmmaker Barry Averich says the film should be seen before being judged.
I think you're going to see a selfless man who on that day, all he thought about was not failures and not, incredible circumstances, not politics. How do I get to my family in time and save them with a clock running in his head?
While the line to see the film stretched around the block, protesters at the corner of King and Simcoe called it a story that supports Israeli propaganda.
People that are a part of the Zionist propaganda machine have very crafty answers to describe what they're doing and why it's so noble and humanitarian, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the politics of the region at the time.
But Averich says this film is not political, but rather building towards
an emotional moment of a family reuniting, and people are going to see that in the film, and they're going to relate to it, and that's what I asked them to do. Keep an open mind and make up your own mind about the film.
Shawnee Thong, CTV News.
We're talking about Trails Manitoba this morning. That is where Ainsley McPhail is live this morning on a trail. We're going to find out about a Trails Talk conference that's coming up. Stay with us. Good morning. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live on the trails this morning, exploring the world outside, including looking at the birds and seeing other really cool things out there. And you can join in on a conference that's coming up to learn more about some of the trails in this province. Good morning, Ainsley.
Rochelle, good morning. And we're at Bison Butte, Fort White Alive, just around the corner. And I say that because we walked briskly up the hill. It was great. Dave's joining me once again. The conference, there's nothing else really like it in Canada, which is so cool that it's happening in Onondaga.
Yeah, so Trail Talks is a conference that we founded here within Trails Manitoba here in the province, and as we were talking about earlier, it came about as a result of we need a place for trail stewards, those who are passionate about the planning, the management, the construction, the maintenance of trails. We need a place for all of those people to come into one room and not feel so alone in their parts of Manitoba. So yeah, Trail Talks has become this unique event that doesn't exist in the neighboring provinces, and it's just become a really great time for trail stewards to come together, learn, share, network, share success stories, talk about their struggles and all that type of thing, because volunteer work is not always doing everything in a whole group of people with everybody across the province. Sometimes it's a little isolating because you're just doing your own things in your own little pocket. So the conference has become a really important annual gathering.
For people watching too, they might be going, oh, they've got volunteers, but what actually goes into this for there to be a whole conference? It sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to managing, maintaining trails, there's so much involved. I mean, in the conference, we've touched on maintenance side of it. We touch on the planning side of it. We touch on, the economic impact side of it. This year we'll have Amy Camp. She'll be talking about the concept of trail towns. How does a town, a community as a whole embrace trails for the good of the community? But yeah, I mean, as one can see here at Bison Butte, it takes a lot to maintain trail. Trail doesn't just happen magically via trail ferries in the night. It takes a lot of real people, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears behind the scenes to make these things happen. So the conference is kind of getting those people together so that we, feel empowered to really move the trail community onward here in Manitoba, because there's so much amazing stuff happening right now.
Thank you so much. And you know what that does for me personally anyways, even just walking up on this beautiful morning, appreciation. Next time you're going for a run on a bike ride, think, oh, somebody else in the community helped me out with this.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like a beautiful spot. All right, thank you, Ainsley. And it's going to be a gorgeous morning to get out there as quickly as you can before the rain sets in.
Oh, I'm jealous that Ainsley is like capitalizing on these beautiful morning hours because, yeah, this afternoon things are going to look a whole lot different. Right now the sun is still shining. We could hear that window where Ainsley was. Yeah, it will be on the stronger side today. At the moment here in Winnipeg, those winds are from the south 23 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 83%. We're going to notice those clouds building up, and with them, the storms will be moving through. We've been keeping our eye on the southwestern part of the province where the storms have been active. All of the watches all of the warnings have been downgraded to watches. So it's only severe thunderstorm watches left through that southwestern part of the province. But here's a look at just how active things are moving through that corner and making their way toward us here in the southeastern part as well. So expect some showers or thunderstorms today, and these winds continuing to increase. At times gusting to 50 kilometers per hour, but the temperature is also increasing. It will be another above seasonal day with a high of 23 degrees. Not quite as hot as it's been for the past couple of days, but still well above seasonal. In fact, a normal daytime high is 19 degrees, and our overnight temperature is a lot closer to that than the seasonal low of 7. Will remain 10 above that, but the showers or thunderstorms could continue overnight and still into tomorrow morning. Another warm one tomorrow, 24 degrees, but soggy to kick things off. Eventually the storms will move off, and we'll see things tapering and maybe even a little glimmer or two of sunshine through the start of the weekend. But those storms could be picking up again Sunday, continuing through the start of next week. But these mild temperatures will also stick around as far as we can see.
Thank you, Terry. RCMP in Saskatchewan have issued a dangerous person alert for First Nation community in the province's interior. The alert was issued for Big River First Nation and the surrounding area. The community is roughly 375 kilometers west of the Paw and 180 kilometers north of Saskatoon. Mounties say there is a suspect with a gun wearing a black Vegas Knights hoodie and white pants. Anyone in the area is advised to stay inside and not broadcast police locations. Motorists traveling between Winnipeg and Carman take note: a bridge on Highway 3 is closed. The province has closed the bridge over the Morris River just south of Brunkild. It says the structure is unstable and needs to be replaced, and adds the emergency closure is necessary to ensure safety for motorists. Traffic is being directed to highways 13 and 2. No word on how long the closure will remain in effect. Prime Minister Mark Carney will announce the first wave of major project announcements today.
We will remain relentlessly focused on bringing down costs for Canadians.
The projects fall under Ottawa's new strategy to reduce Canada's economic reliance on the U.S. Speaking to his caucus in Edmonton, Carney says the planned projects will align both with the interests of Indigenous people and with Canada's climate goals. He says change is necessary to tackle the current crisis facing Canada. In June, Parliament passed Bill C-5, aimed at giving government sweeping new powers to approve major projects of national interest. Prime Minister Carney also sat down for a meeting with Alberta Premier Danielle Smith yesterday. It lasted a little more than 45 minutes, and sources tell CTV it was productive. Premier Smith was expected to reiterate her policy demands. She's looking for real movement on 9 federal policies that she says have pummeled Alberta's economy and oil and gas industry. A judge in BC has ruled the man accused of killing 11 people at this year's Lapu Lapu Day Festival in Vancouver is fit to stand trial.
Many people in the community want to see this go to trial, and so I think that is why this brings relief to the community in terms of getting a fit to stand trial.
A sweeping publication ban prevents CTV News from sharing most details from the hearing on this, which took place in July. At that time, 2 forensic psychiatrists testified about their observations of Adam K. G. Lowe during his time in custody. Based on their evidence, the judge deemed he is fit for trial. Lowe faces 31 counts of attempted murder, in addition to the 11 counts of second-degree murder already laid. No date has been set for the next court appearance. For the first time in well over a year, Prince Harry has met with his father, King Charles. The two sat down for tea at Clarence House in London. It's their first meeting since February of 2024. The two have been distant since Harry and Meghan left royal life behind and moved to California in 2020. And many believe it could signal a positive sign that the two are working to repair their rift. Qatar's prime minister says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's actions since the October 7th attacks have ended any hope of bringing remaining hostages home.
It's been like in a very systematic way trying to undermine any chance of stability, any chance of peace, and any chance of retrieving his own hostages.
Qatar has been playing a central role in mediating talks for possible Gaza ceasefire. Its prime minister said his country is reassessing everything after Tuesday's Israeli strike in Doha. NASA's Perseverance rover has uncovered rocks that may hold signs of ancient microscopic life.
After a year of review, they've come back and they said, listen, we can't find another explanation. So this very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars, which is incredibly exciting.
The rocks were found in a dry river channel. The rover used a drill to get into rocks, and tubes hold the samples collected from places NASA has judged to be most suitable for hosting life billions of years ago. Scientists say in-depth analysis is needed before reaching any conclusion. Here's a look at what's happening in traffic along the Norwood Bridge. It looks like things have picked up over here. Overall, moving quite well. No issues to tell you about. And let's look now at gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.44. The provincial average is $1.36. In Winnipeg, the average is also $1.36. The lowest price in the city is $1.26. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by KidneyCard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Right now we're sitting at 15 degrees under mainly cloudy skies. More CTV Morning Live on the way.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
It's still a sunny morning or close enough. We've got some heavier clouds out there, but enough sunshine to at least enjoy it. 15 degrees with south winds, 23 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 83%. Those clouds will continue to stack up, bringing the rain, which we're currently watching right now on the satellite image, all through the southwest. You can see where it's coming from, south of the border and a little bit further west yet. All throughout southwestern Manitoba. Although you were under some severe thunderstorm warnings earlier, they've all been downgraded just to watches, and it's only a matter of time before we're seeing that activity move through the southwestern part, southeastern part of the province as well. Pardon me. Northeastern Manitoba may also deal with a bit of precipitation up around the Churchill area or some heavier clouds for places like Gillam, Thompson. In the more central part of the province or further to the west, the conditions will be very clear, very sunny, but you can see no matter where you are today, the temperature values well above seasonal, low to mid 20s all through northern Manitoba, with most of you enjoying the sunshine. And while it won't be as sunny or bright here across southern Manitoba, it's still going to be every bit as warm. Swan River could get up to 28 degrees. Most of us, though, will be more in those low to mid 20s. But normal temperatures for this time of year would be about 19 degrees. So all of us still well above that. But yes, expect things to change with the clouds stacking up and the precipitation expected to begin probably midday and then continuing through the afternoon, even overnight and tomorrow. Whereas further to the east, you'll still enjoy the sunshine throughout parts of northwestern Ontario. You might get hit with those storms, though, overnight and tomorrow. We'll see them off and on, not just today or tomorrow, even through the weekend and continuing on into next week, but also continuing well into next week will be those above normal temperatures.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We're talking about trails in Manitoba. They've got a lot going on across our province. So many trails maybe that you've never even heard of before. How can people find more information on all these trails?
Well, I mean, that's a perfect segue because I'm with the executive director right now. I think that's a really great way to find out. Tim Coffin joins me with Trails Manitoba. So when it comes to the trails, actually, let's start really basic. What are you guys? Who are you? What do you do?
That is a very good question. So at Trails Manitoba, we are a non-for-profit charitable organization. So the easy way to see our organization is that we are a charitable, or sorry, not a charitable, but an umbrella organization. So as an umbrella organization, we have various volunteer trail groups that look after our trails throughout the province, and they kind of fall under our umbrella. And so what we do, and part of our mandate, is to provide the resources and the support necessary for them to do the work that they do. Go ahead.
Well, there's a lot, that sounds like a lot of work. So you must have such an appreciation for the many volunteers. How many are you talking?
Oh, we're talking thousands. I mean, we're talking a lot of volunteers and a lot of volunteer hours. One thing to note is that there's a significant amount of work that goes into trails. It was alluded to earlier in the program. And so these folks are the heart and soul of the Trails Network, and these folks are what makes what we have available to everybody else. And it is exactly why we see trails in such great shape.
And people might be watching wanting to find more trails, get involved simply because of volunteers like these. Is that the message as well, to get more people out on the trails and active?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So not only do we want folks out on trails, because the more folks that are on trails, the better compacted they will be. So they'll actually have longevity as well. But for anybody that's using trails, you know, we would like to see folks actually put a little bit of sweat equity into it as well. Maybe it is just picking up a piece of trash on the side of the garbage. That goes a long way. Maybe it's picking a rock that's on the trail that somebody might trip off of. So really, there's a lot of opportunity to have folks involved.
Thank you so much for this conversation, Executive Director of Trails Manitoba. We've got more in the 8 o'clock hour.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. An investigation is in progress after dozens of shipping containers fell off a cargo ship, suspending operations yesterday at the Port of Long Beach in California. ABC's Trevor Ault has the latest.
Oh, what's going on the stacks? Take a look at the stunning moment dozens of cargo containers go tumbling off a ship at California's Port of Long Beach.
It looks like dominoes. It looks like once one portion started to fall, then more fell.
We're still investigating the cause and why the containers fell off the ship. We're just working to stabilize everything, and we're not clear on how long it's going to take, but we are working as fast as we can to clear it up.
We've learned the ship, the Mississippi, had just arrived Tuesday morning from China, carrying hundreds of those cargo containers.
Look at how they're teetering right on the edge there. This is the backside of the ship.
The containers piling up in the water, shoes and clothes seen floating on the surface. The port's cargo operations suspended as workers rushed in to keep it contained.
You see the fireboat, Long Beach fireboat there. I think that's their fireboat, using the water pressure to try and push some of those containers back to the corner where they want to keep them before they may sink.
Port officials say no one was hurt, but this morning the cleanup could prove difficult.
One or two would be an accident, you know, just getting a little too fast with the crane, but something like this is probably a major error somewhere.
Hey there, welcome inside the Sports Center newsroom. Lindsay Hamilton with your must-see moment from Wednesday. We are heading to Russia. Yeah, you got to check out the shootout goal from the Russian Supreme Hockey League. Pavel Meshkov absolutely fools the goalie, lets the puck slowly slide right by him into the net. And that is one of the all-time cheekiest shootout goals you'll probably see. Nice stuff. Meanwhile, Thursday on TSN, Week 2 of the NFL season kicks off when the Commanders visit the Packers. Pre-game coverage begins at 6 p.m. Central Time. That's all for now from the Sports Center newsroom. Enjoy the football and have a terrific Thursday.
TSN Must See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years. Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas shades.
All right, I can still see a brighter sky off to the east, even though the heavier clouds are starting to stack up. But to the west, it's looking a lot darker, a lot more ominous. And when I stepped out here, you can start to feel the chill. You know the rain is coming. There's just that sense that we've got, and we've been watching it on the satellite image. So it's not just my spidey senses. I actually saw what was going on. All right, 15 degrees. We're still well above seasonal as far as these temperatures go. A bit of a breeze, though, out of the south, 23 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 83%. And we'll continue to watch the clouds building. Things will start to look a little bit darker as it is off to the west right now. And yes, showers or thunderstorms expected to be rolling all across southern Manitoba. Right now, that activity is just in the southwest, but it will be closing in over us as well. It'll likely move through midday and continuing all afternoon, even overnight, and still tomorrow morning we could be waking up to that precipitation. For northern Manitoba, many of you enjoying a brighter, sunnier day, and across the province, whether it's sunny or stormy, you can expect the temperatures to remain well above seasonal. seasonal, and it's not just for the next couple of days. As far as we can see into next week, we're staying above the seasonal 19 degrees.
Fox was born in Winnipeg and became Canada's hero. 18-year-old Fox started his Marathon of Hope in April 1980 after having part of his leg amputated because of cancer. He never finished his marathon, but the rest of the country and the world has been doing it for him for the past 45 years with the annual Terry Fox Run. The funds raised go towards cancer research. Joining us now are Susan Wenslowski, who is a Terry's team member, and Dr. Sachin Katyal, a member of the Marathon of Hope Cancer Centers Network's steering committee. Hello to both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you have your own personal story with cancer. 6 years ago, you were diagnosed with thyroid cancer. It really changes your life, doesn't it?
It does, absolutely, yes. Yeah, my story was, 6 years ago, I was just sitting at a group with a group of ladies, and I thought to myself, her throat indents goes in, hers goes in. Everyone went in, but mine didn't. And then I thought, why doesn't it? And so, of course, I went to the doctor. Cancer is a big part of my family's, and so when you find something that's amiss, you go to the doctor. And so then I went to the doctor, and then we did all the normal things. You go for an ultrasound, then you do the biopsy, and then you wait for the report. And so waiting for the report, kind of a few little mishaps for me, but we did find out at the end of August that yes, I did have cancer. And so then again, just the normal things. You go visit the doctor. He decides that yes, we need to take it out. And my cancer was very fortunate in that my cancer has a 90% cancer survivor, and so that's awesome. But the thing is, now I have to take thyroid medication for the rest of my life.
Right, and then you became a member of the Terry Fox team,
yes.
And why was that important for you?
You know what, again, as I said, cancer's been a big part of my life. My grandmother actually never saw any of her grandchildren because she died of cancer way back. My dad had cancer, and so being able to be part of this, I remember watching Terry run across Canada, and it just has always been a pull on my heart.
Absolutely. So 45 years the Terry Fox Run has been happening as a result of Terry Fox's work. Where has that money been going, and how has it really changed the way we see cancer these days?
Well, it's the efforts of Susan and millions of Canadians across the country who fundraise every year. That money gets reinvested into cancer research. In Manitoba alone, last year $800,000 was fundraised, but that led to over a $1 million investment into cancer research within the province. And that allows us to bring the latest and greatest research to the doorstep of Manitobans and Canadians.
We've come a long way since Terry Fox's battle with cancer, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely. We are on the cusp of a revolution. The new technology, computational power, precision oncology. We're able to potentially now take every individual person's cancer and treat it individually. So instead of taking the one-size-fits-all model, we can personalize the treatment. And that's where a lot of this money now is going towards, those efforts to try to personalize therapy for each and every single Canadian.
We're almost out of time already. The run is happening on Sunday. Anybody can just sign up and show up, or what do you want people to know? Just support the cause?
Come 9 o'clock registration, September 14th at Assiniboine Park.
Yep.
The run starts at 10 o'clock. There's entertainment, there's camaraderie, there's friends, there's family. Be part of Terry's vision.
And of course, we've all been touched by cancer in one form or another, and we all want the best treatment when we are facing the big C word. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us this morning, and good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
It's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy 27th birthday to Peter. Love your mom, Giselle, Dad, and your brothers, Jader and Jacob. Happy 11th birthday to Sydney. Hope you have the best day ever. Love Mom, Dad, Taylor, Ozzy, and Granny. Happy birthday, Bruce. Lots of love from your family and friends. Happy 50th birthday to Ryan, with love from your mom, dad, and family. Happy birthday to Boonki. Love your wife, Melanie. And a happy 80th birthday to Marlene with love from Eileen and the Monroe Book Club. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's celebrate. Brought to you by Party Stuff. 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca.
But it's 8 o'clock on your Thursday. Thank you so much for being with us here on CTV Morning Live. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to tell you about a fentanyl awareness walk that is happening this weekend. Also, a Manitoba author has a brand new book. It's designed for middle-aged kids, teens even, and it's a spooky horror. It's fantasy, and it's, of course, something fun to read. It's called The Dark Times of Nimble Nottingham. We're going to feature that book a little later in our hour, but first, your headlines. Manitoba First Nation bans moose hunters, why the move is sparking tension just as hunting season begins. Plus, Poland invokes NATO Article 4, how a drone strike has rattled the alliance. And Canada's outdoor farm show is back, from cow milking robots to shade machines. All right, let's bring in Terry now. It's going to be a rainy day.
Yeah, it hasn't started yet, but you're right about that, Rochelle. That'd be a great way to describe it, especially later on today into the afternoon and tomorrow. And some places, it's already that rainy day. It's 15 degrees right now with south winds 23 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 83%. We are seeing the clouds building up. No watches or warnings issued through the southeast, but through southwestern Manitoba. Well, I shouldn't say warnings. There were some warnings that had been issued, but they've all been downgraded just to watches here through southwestern Manitoba regarding the thunderstorms. And yes, there they are on the satellite image, still looking pretty angry and active, and tracking a little bit further to the east now. Portage-La Prairie, you're getting right into the thick of it, and before long we'll find ourselves in that very same position. Here's a look now at the futurecast and how things will play out today. It's not just here in the south. While we will be certainly getting that activity, parts of the northeast might also see some showers or thunderstorms right up around the Churchill area. Now, most of northern Manitoba and even central Manitoba will remain on the clearer side today. Plenty of sunshine, beautiful and bright. But here in the south, yes, the showers and the thunderstorms passing through, continuing overnight and into tomorrow morning, still waking up to those storms. But by the day, as the day goes on tomorrow, we'll start to see that activity tapering off and pushing further off to the east. But it doesn't mean it's done. We still could see some of that activity as we're moving on into the weekend. But also still, these well above seasonal temperatures are expected to last. Now, just for a reference point, 19 degrees would be a normal daytime high. And our overnight lows are a lot closer to that number than the seasonal 7 degrees. And yes, mid to high 20s still expected as we're continuing through the weekend and tracking further ahead into the middle of next week. Our art today is from 9-year-old Aria. Thank you for this picture, and we would love to see whatever it is you're working on. I said yesterday I had no art to show you, and Aria came through and saved the day. Who's going to save the day tomorrow? Send me your pictures to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. A First Nation in eastern Manitoba is banning moose hunters from its ancestral lands. And with hunting season just days away, it's raising concerns in the outfitter industry.
If we do not act, it is clear no one else will protect our rights.
Bloodvein First Nation says non-Indigenous moose hunters are not welcome this season. The community has set up a check stop south of the Bloodvein River and posted signs marking the area as traditional territory for band members only. The province says moose numbers are stable, but Chief Lisa Young wants to keep them that way. This year, 175 tags have been issued for the region east of Lake Winnipeg, including Bloodvein, with an expected harvest of 41 moose. The Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs is calling on the province to stop issuing those tags. Don Lamont with the Manitoba Lodges and Outfitters Association says the surrounding area is Crown land and hunters should be allowed to hunt there.
The First Nations want to restrict non-Indigenous hunters on their treaty land. They can do that. That is not an issue. and we won't go near that.
In a statement to CTV News, Minister Ian Bushy said, "We understand the concerns being raised and the importance of ensuring that moose populations remain stable and sustainable. Our commitment is to continue working in partnership with Indigenous communities and hunters." Bushy adds talks are ongoing with Blood Vein leadership and the hunting community. It's been 24 years since the September 11th attacks. Just moments ago, an American flag was draped across the west side of the Pentagon. This was the area struck by the hijacked American Airlines Flight 77 on September 11th, 2001. This annual ceremony honors the lives lost at the Pentagon, as well as the nearly 3,000 other people who lost their lives. Ceremonies will also be held in New York City and Shanksville, Pennsylvania. An emergency United Nations Security Council meeting will take place today after Poland airspace was violated by Russian drones. Poland has invoked Article 4 of the NATO treaty. This comes after 4 drones were shot down over its territory during a Russian attack on western Ukraine Tuesday night. Article 4 calls for member states to meet whenever the territorial integrity, political independence, or security of a member is threatened. It's only been invoked 7 times before in the 76-year history of the alliance. Prime Minister Mark Carney has called Russia's attack reckless and escalatory, adding that Canada stands with Poland and NATO allies. Canada's outdoor farm show is happening this week in Woodstock, Ontario. This isn't the type of farm show with cute animals. It's the kind of show where farmers can check out the latest equipment and technology. Some of the machines on display include a cow milking robot and a mechanical shade for animals. Woodstock has hosted the farm show for more than 30 years. And let's take a look now at the current traffic situation along Notre Dame. It looks good here, but we do have an alert for Broadway in Edmonton. A crash has blocked westbound median and middle lanes approaching that intersection. So be mindful of that, or try to avoid the area if you can. If you have any other traffic tips to share with us, please go to our X page, CTV Morning WPG. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's outside enjoying the outdoors before the rain arrives. Good morning, Ainsley.
Oh, don't tell me that. I guess I took my earpiece out during the weather segments, and I did not know it was going to be raining. We gotta get this done quickly, Dave.
Let's go.
It's okay. We got a big province, tons of trails. I'm joined with Dave with Trails Manitoba. You guys have an event coming up though in the Whiteshell.
We do, yeah. So Trails Manitoba, in addition to all of what Tim talked about a few moments ago with respect to the role we play for advocacy and representation here in Manitoba, we don't only organize the upcoming trail conference, but we do occasionally organize other events as well. And so on September 27th in the North Whiteshell, we are organizing a trail day. So it'll be a day, mostly a morning, I should say, where people get to come on out. We'll supply the leads, the work priorities. We'll help maintain some trail up there. And this is an event, like I said, we don't normally do on the ground things, but as the Trans-Canada Trail representative here in the province of Manitoba, Trails Manitoba got a grant from the Trans-Canada Trail Foundation nationally to host this trail day, spruce things up a little bit. And these are just, as we said earlier, trails don't just happen. So this is going to be a great opportunity for people to come on out, spend some time with your fellow trail enthusiasts, work on some trail, get things cleaned up. And details for that trail day on September 27th in the North Whiteshell will be dropping on Trails Manitoba social media accounts later on today. So if people are interested, come on out.
Awesome. Breaking it today. Yeah. When you talk about the, I'm sure, laundry list of things that need to happen in order for trails to look as pristine as they do in Manitoba, what are some of those important things?
Great question, Ainsley. So they're often very weather orientated. So, after major rain events, certain trail can get rutted out. I mean, here at Bison Butte, that is something that we are managing on a pretty constant basis. I think this was off camera, but showing you earlier, we've installed some new water bars that help shed water off the trail. In the case of the upcoming trail day, we know there are a lot of trees down on that trail. So, something as simple as just going out, cutting trees, removing them, pushing them to the side. And then, of course, there's the maintenance of mowing and making sure that it looks like it's maintained and not some, turkey trail wandering off through the forest that not everybody's cup of tea. So you have to make it look like something as well.
Thank you so much. Speaking of looking, when you mentioned the weather conditions, you should have just said, look up.
Well, it's not coming quite yet, but
it's going to rain. Look up.
You'll be done.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ainsley. A grieving New Brunswick father is sharing his son's sacrifice on the front lines of Ukraine. Here's CTV's Sarah Plowman on a family's fight to bring his body home.
Distance couldn't shelter this family from war. Patrick Mazerol first told his parents he was going to England for vacation, but went on to Ukraine to join the fight. Last week, Mazerol's father learned his son was killed on the front lines by a Russian drone.
It's tragic to lose a kid. It's awful to lose it this way.
Full of grief and stories about a 24-year-old who loved history and helping people. Years ago, he nearly joined Canada's military, but left before basic training finished.
You said he felt like he was helping Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he knew what he was getting involved with. He thought he was ready.
Mark Mazerol last spoke with his son May 27th.
He said, "I soon I'm out of there, Dad." He said, "I'll make it back. I'll make it back, I'll make you proud."
He learned of his son's death through another soldier.
I want him back. We're past asking question of why, and I just want my son back here so we can bury him in the proper way.
But getting his body from the front lines is a major challenge. The family wants more support from the government.
We sacrifice our kid for that war, which is not even our war. But we feel not helpless, but we feel left on our own, and we're totally left on our own.
Global Affairs Canada says it's aware of unconfirmed reports that a Canadian may have died recently in Ukraine, but won't say anything more due to privacy. It doesn't keep a registry of how many Canadians are serving in Ukraine, but says since the war started, 25 Canadians have died. That's from all causes. We asked the Ukrainian military what's being done to retrieve Mazerol's body, but did not hear back before our deadline. Sarah Plowman, CTV News in Caracat, New Brunswick.
All right, we're looking now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Looking off to the east, it's still looking a little bit brighter where the sun is kind of glowing behind those clouds, but to the west of us, a much darker sky, and I'll show you why in a second. Temperature-wise, we're well above seasonal. Everybody in the province will be reaching above normal values today, beginning, for example, more than doubling what is seasonal. 7 degrees a normal low. We're starting out at 15. We haven't budged much for the past few hours, but mid-teens all across southern Manitoba, and even Sprague, who was at 9, is starting to make some gains, now sitting at 12 degrees. Up into northern Manitoba, also a very mild start to the day. Mid-teens already in place, and many places across northern Manitoba will enjoy a clearer, brighter sky. Here through the south, we've been keeping our eye on the storms, and there you can see them right now on the satellite image, and this is why it's looking so dark. As we look off to the west, as they're tracking further to the east, we'll find ourselves right in the path of them. As we're sending kids off to school, it's still on the drier side right now in Winnipeg, 15 degrees with the heavier clouds and a bit of a breeze that will increase with the clouds and the showers or thunderstorms that are expected through the afternoon. We should get to a high of about 23 degrees. 19 is normal for this time of year, so we'll remain well above that, but the storms could continue overnight and through tomorrow, but still off and on, not just through the weekend, continuing into next week. But the mild temperatures will last pretty much as far as we can see. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Good morning, it's 8:15. There's been a jump in asthma attacks as kids return to school. The annual phenomenon is widely known as the September spike. CTV's Pauline Chan has the details.
7-year-old Benji was diagnosed with asthma as a baby, and his mom says back to school is definitely a time when he gets more problems.
There's exposure to other children who are sick, and he gets sick easily, and when he gets sick, it leads to more asthma attacks for him.
And the Lung Health Foundation says there are other reasons for the September spike, too.
There's more ragweed pollen, weather changes, and indoor factors such as dust.
During the summer, Benji takes a break from his asthma medications.
The main buffer, and in these, there's medicine. There's lots of different medicines that go in.
And in September, his family reviews his asthma plan with his doctor.
The need to talk to his pediatrician about whether to start the medication again or not.
And his school.
So the school is very much aware that he has asthma. And then if he is having a difficult episode, we send his inhaler to school with instructions for his teachers.
Signs for a flare-up usually is the persistent wheezing. So there's like a rattling noise when they're breathing. They have difficulty speaking in full sentences. Sometimes they have difficulty sleeping at night, so they're waking up a lot.
As well as sharing your asthma plan, it's a good idea to make sure all your child's vaccinations are up to date.
I could do monkey bars. I could almost skip a ball, but I can't yet.
So kids like Benji can have a healthy and successful school year. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A Manitoba father's heartbreaking loss has led to a campaign to raise awareness about the dangers of drugs like fentanyl. Joseph Foray's 31-year-old son, Harlan, died from a drug overdose in April 2023 in the Paw. Since then, his father, Joseph, has been on a mission to raise awareness about the dangers of recreational drugs with a campaign, No Thanks, I'm Good. Joining us now is that father, Joseph Foray. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, this is such a difficult thing to talk about. It's been over 2 years. Yeah. Take us back to the Paw and what happened that night.
Well, he was just out with some guys that he was working with up north, and they went out, and one of those guys bought what they believed was a recreational drug, and ecstasy. Yeah. And convinced him to try it with him because he didn't do drugs, and yeah, for whatever reason, he said yes that night, and the drug was poisoned with fentanyl, and unfortunately, we lost him. Harlan died of a fentanyl poisoning. And I know we use that word overdose quite a bit, and I'm trying to make that shift because this is what's happening with a lot of the deaths. Fentanyl poisoning is probably becoming the #1 killer of young people between the ages of 10 and 29.
Oh my goodness.
You know, so it's one of the reasons why we do what we're going to do on Saturday.
So you're saying that the majority of people who are dying of fentanyl overdose are doing so accidentally, not knowing that they might be exposed to fentanyl in the first place?
Yeah, they don't know. I mean, the recreational drugs that are out there, the Molly, the fentanyl, I mean, the ecstasy, or we even had young kids dying from marijuana laced with fentanyl. So that's why I really wanted to term fentanyl poisoning, because these kids, these young people, these recreational users, even the weekend cocaine user, you know, could die from fentanyl poisoning. You know, so we wanted to raise awareness. The whole idea behind Fentanyl Awareness Day was, one is to remember the victims of fentanyl. You know, put faces to the numbers. There were families, there was someone's loved one who just maybe made a bad choice. You know, the second was to create that awareness. You know, it's the school year, kids are meeting new people for the first time, and maybe that peer pressure to try something for the first time increases. So we want to start having those conversations at this time of year about fentanyl and recreational drugs.
And that's where the No Thanks, I'm Good campaign came from as well, right?
Yeah, No Thanks, I'm Good came from him. I mean, that's what he usually said when he was offered drugs.
Right.
So that No Thanks, I'm Good was geared towards, you know, young people to give them off a lot of drugs.
Okay, so you're having the Fentanyl Awareness Walk happening on Saturday.
Yes.
Tell us about this T-shirt.
We've got the branding, and so the first 200 people that will come out will get the T-shirt. Okay. And if you look on the back, it says, you know, fentanyl poisoning. Don't think it can't happen to you. And that's the real message that we want to send to recreational drug users, or people thinking about doing drugs for the first time, is that fentanyl is out there. Okay. And it's in all drugs. There's not a drug that can't be poisoned by fentanyl. So if you think you're going to do some drugs tonight, you know, don't think it can't happen to you. You may get that rogue dose. It's happened to so many of our young people today, and this is why we do what we do.
Okay, so the walk is happening Saturday?
Saturday.
Where and what time, and who's invited?
Everyone's invited. Okay. Actually, if you've been affected by fentanyl, your family's been affected by fentanyl, if you lost a loved one, please come and join us. Bring a picture of that loved one with you. Walk with us. Walk with them. Because they didn't ask for fentanyl. This is something that they didn't choose. So the walk is at the Odina Circle. We're gathering at 1 o'clock. and we'll be walking to the ledge, down Main Street, down Portage, down Memorial. We want to make a presence. I've also got a wonderful message from the fentanyl czar that I met in Ottawa last April to read to Manitobans from him.
Okay, well, thank you so much for doing this with us, and for, again, our sympathies to you and your family on the loss of your son. And if you want more information, we do have a link on our website. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you so much.
All right, the winds are certainly picking up out here on the rooftop, and it's feeling a little bit cool, even though we're well above seasonal. But compared to what it felt like, say, an hour ago before that system started to get closer, definitely noticing just a little bit of a change up in the air, and it's only a matter of time before things really do begin to change, and we go from heavier clouds to showers and thunderstorms. It's 15 degrees right now with the breeze out of the south gusting to 37 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling. The humidity is sitting at 82%. And while I am still seeing a slightly brighter sky off to the east, it's just a matter of looking to the west, and you can see how much darker things are looking all through southwestern Manitoba, and now tracking further east. It's already reached places like Portage La Prairie in the center of the province, but we'll continue to push further into the southeastern stretch. Showers, thunderstorms, severe enough that thunderstorm watches and warnings had been issued earlier this morning. Right now, they have all been downgraded just to watches through the southwest, but there has been a lot of activity as far as showers and thunderstorms, and just things to keep in mind. You can deal with some heavy rain, maybe even some damaging winds, or possibly even hail as this system rolls on through. For northern Manitoba, it'll be a much clearer, brighter day, and for all of us, whether we're going to see the storms or the sunshine across the north, above seasonal temperatures are expected. They're going to last not just for the next couple of days, but well into the middle of next week. Out at Clearwater Lake, it was an absolutely stunning sunset that Shonay was able to capture here and send this picture to us. Keep the photos coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Athletics advocates in Alberta say more needs to be done to keep girls in sports, arguing new requirements could lead more girls to retire early. CTV's Connor Hogue explains.
Alberta's education minister says the province's Fairness and Safety in Sport Act will help keep athletes safe. It requires women and girls to confirm their sex at birth to ensure trans athletes are not competing in female divisions, both in schools and outside.
A lot of women and girls drop out of participating in competitive sports because of the physical nature that it can sometimes have as individuals get to more senior levels.
That wouldn't really necessarily be what the research supports.
Registered psychologist Katie Castle says by age 14, girls are twice as likely to quit sports as boys. She says there are many reasons why girls drop out as they hit adolescence, not the physical demand of the sport itself.
What changes is body image, self-confidence, their value on being with their peers. Those are the things that we know really change for girls, regardless of whether we're talking about girls' sports or boys' sports. Every sport gets more intense and harder on your body as you grow.
Castle says the biggest safety risk to young athletes is often the adults around them, not other athletes. Girls in Sport founder Dia Syed says building girls' confidence will keep them on the court.
We assume that they can't take on the challenge and get to where they need to be. And then, quite frankly, if somebody who's scared, and again, I speak for everybody, if we're scared at doing something and somebody gives you an out, you're probably going to go, yeah, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore.
Syed says improving infrastructure can get girls and anyone around the financial, internal, and social barriers to sport.
How to approach them and how they feel safe when making mistakes. Because once you feel safe in making mistakes, it's like a world of opportunity.
The Ministry of Tourism and Sport says the province is committed to supporting girls and women through programs, grants, and partnerships, encouraging them to continue playing. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
A new book tells the story of a boy and his dog in London during the Second World War Blitz. It's an historical fantasy, a horror, and an adventure for middle grade kids, written by Manitoba-born author Ryan James Black. The book, titled The Dark Times of Nimble Nottingham, was liked by R.L. Stine, the well-known author of the kids' book series Goosebumps. Stine even wrote a quote for the cover of the book. Joining us now is author Ryan James Black. Good morning, Ryan.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining joining us. It's a beautiful cover, first of all.
Thank you.
There's a map inside, which I absolutely love. Tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write this historical fantasy.
So I've been writing for pretty much as long as I can remember. This book in particular, though, I heard some time ago a history podcast about the Blitz. I'm kind of interested in that period of time and got to thinking about what it must have been like in a city blacked out at night. You know, it always kind of struck me as almost a fantasy type setting. So it kind of stuck with me, and I decided I wanted to write a story about it. But then I thought, well, why not even sort of take things up a notch for my characters and throw a monster into the mix. So that's what I did. A monster, yeah.
Okay, so it's a horror, but it's for kids.
Yeah, it's a middle grade horror, fantasy, adventure. It kind of has all those things in it.
Okay, and so the fact that R.L. Stine wrote a blurb, which is on the cover right here that you can see here.
That's right, yeah.
What did it mean to you? Because he's famous for writing Goosebumps and other kids' horror books. What did it mean to you to get this acknowledgement?
It meant a lot. I mean, to be honest, when I was growing up, I was reading R.L. Stine books as a kid, mostly his Fear Street books, not so much his Goosebump, but I had a lot of long bus rides to school in the mornings, so it was Fear Street books. So now to come full circle years later and have him not only willing to read it, but then actually enjoying it and then blurbing it is pretty surreal. It's amazing.
And it's just such a cool way of sort of starting off in this sort of realm, right? Is this something that you feel that you're going to move into this kids horror fantasy kind of realm?
Absolutely, yeah. I would love to just continue just kind of branching out into different areas. Anything fantastical or spooky or fun, I try to pack it all in there, and there's a whole lot more ideas in my strange imagination that are waiting to come out.
It's so cool. Now we're days away from fall beginning, and of course the spooky season sort of sets in. Are you hoping that kids will get inspired to read based on this spooky story?
For sure. I think it's a perfect book for, I mean, I'm biased, but I think it's a perfect book for the spooky season. Like I say, it's not gonna keep somebody up all night, but it definitely has scary elements. So I think it's good for people that maybe don't like their horror too horrific. Yeah. But it has something for, I think, kids of all ages in that regard. And yeah, it takes place in October. So it's spooky and cold and dark, and a good book to maybe curl up under a blanket and read on a scary night.
Love it so much. Now you're launching this book at McNally Robinson tomorrow, is that right?
Tomorrow night, yeah. Tomorrow night.
Okay. So if you want more information, we have a link on our website. Thank you so much, and congrats on the new book.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks to be here.
Yeah, we're getting into a kind of day you might want to curl up with a good book, and not one that's going to keep you up at night either. I like the sounds of that. All right, 15 degrees. The breeze is getting stronger. Those winds out of the south right now are gusting to 37 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 82%. With the clouds building up, the rain is coming. So far, it's only been reaching the southwest. The area that has been under the thunderstorm watches is shrinking, but it's also moving a little bit further to the east. So just keep in mind that where those thunderstorm watches are in effect, things could be the most active, and no surprise there. Taking a look at the satellite image, if you're getting into the reds and the yellows and the pinks, except you can't even see them because there's so many of the little white lightning bolts firing off. However, all you have to do is look at this and know that that system is looking a little bit angry, and it's coming for us too. It'll be rolling over southeastern Manitoba with showers and thunderstorms on the way, and stronger winds increasing at times up to 50 clicks, but will still rise above seasonal to a high of 23 degrees, dropping to 17 overnight as that system continues. Now, 17 is well above seasonal. A normal daytime high would be 19 degrees. A normal low would actually be around 7, so we'll remain 10 above it overnight, and still another warm day tomorrow, or at least above seasonal, not as hot as it's been the past couple of days. We were getting up to 28, 27 degrees for the last couple with all of the sunshine. Well, now we're not going to be seeing too much sunshine in the days ahead, as the heavier clouds will linger and the possibility of precipitation well into the middle of next week.
Thank you, Terry. After 2 months away from their homes, residents of a northern Manitoba town will be allowed to go home this week. The town of Leaf Rapids is lifting its wildfire evacuation order Friday morning at 7 a.m. The community of roughly 350 were ordered to leave July 8th after a fire jumped the Churchill River and entered the town. It resulted in the loss of one home and several abandoned buildings. The Manitoba Museum has returned 19 artifacts to a First Nation in Saskatchewan. The repatriation to the Piapot First Nation is the largest in the museum's history. Artifacts include ceremonial pipes, a drum, an eagle fan, medicine pouches, as well as gifts the chief gave as thanks to the minister who conducted his daughter's marriage ceremony. As a thank you, the First Nation invited museum representatives to attend a repatriation ceremony. The museum says repatriation is an important institutional responsibility. We're learning new details of Prime Minister Mark Carney's major projects announcement today. CTV News has learned Prime Minister will name 5 projects being recommended for approval. One of them will be a liquefied natural gas expansion that could double Canada's production. The other items on the list include the Darlington nuclear plant in Ontario, a Port of Montreal expansion, and 2 mining projects in Saskatchewan and BC. Notably, there is no pipeline on the list in this first wave of recommendations. Prime Minister Carney will make the official announcement in Edmonton. Doctors at Cancer Care Manitoba have a new tool in their arsenal. It's called CAR T-cell therapy, and one Manitoba patient calls it magical. In this month's More Tomorrows Together, CTV's John Hendricks shows you what the procedure is and how it was made available for patients right here in our province.
It's just amazing. Sandra Hodglow fought cancer a decade ago and beat it. But when it recently returned, in the form of a grapefruit-sized tumor, it looked like the lymphoma had the upper hand.
I underwent, I think it was 6 sessions of chemotherapy. And when I had an appointment to see my oncologist, my hopes were kind of dashed.
The chemo had not shrunk her tumor significantly. Luckily, her doctors at Cancer Care Manitoba had another option for her, a treatment that had never been done in this province before.
They told me that I would be the first, not only the first woman, but the first person in Manitoba to be receiving local treatment here.
The treatment she's talking about is CAR T-cell therapy.
It's a very targeted type of therapy that uses the body's immune system to destroy the cancer.
Doctors extract the patient's own T-cells and modify them in a lab so they can recognize the specific cancer the patient is battling. Then they're infused back into the patient to attack and destroy the cancer. For years, Manitoba patients had to go out of province for this innovative treatment.
It was really challenging, actually, to be able to bring CAR T-cell therapy to Manitoba. Because it's a living drug, there was a lot of processes that we'd never had to do before to get a product like this into patients.
But thanks to support from the province and the Cancer Care Manitoba Foundation, patients like Sandra Hodglow now have access to it. And the results are nothing short of astounding.
It was magical. It just blew my mind how quickly and effectively it worked.
And this is why donor-supportive research, local research happening here, is so important, because it enables advancements like this.
Currently, Cancer Care Manitoba is able to treat between 10 to 20 patients a year with CAR T-cell therapy, numbers officials hope to increase significantly in the coming years, so they can help even more patients like Sandra. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
And let's look now at what's going on Kenison Boulevard. It looks like things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. Let's look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.44. The provincial average is $1.36. The average is the same in Winnipeg at $1.36. The lowest price in Winnipeg, $1.26. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
It's time now to check in on our responses to the question of the day. We asked, what was your favorite fall traditions? And Marlene says she loves doing nature drives and taking pics of tree leaves changing in the fall. Love that. Susan says this time of year for her means fall cleaning and Hallmark movies. Oh, already there, Susan. That sounds fun. And Dave tells us fall is synonymous with watching hours and hours of college football. Sounds like my husband. And just a quick reminder, our question of the day has moved from Twitter, so please text your answer and please make sure you include your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. Thank you again for letting us know your responses. All right, let's go out to the trail now where it feels pretty nice out there because it's not yet raining. Ainsley, how is the trail feeling?
It's great. Yeah, it's not too bad. Great for a bike ride, great for a walk, great for a run, anything you want to do on this morning. Dave and Tim join us once again from Trails Manitoba. When we talk about the future of Trails Manitoba, Tim, what do you hope that looks like?
Ooh, that's a big question. Great question. So the future of Trails Manitoba, I like to see, we keep talking about Manitoba being an international trail tourism destination. And so that is what we're building up to. We have the right things in place. We do have a Trails Manitoba grant program as well. And so with the funding, we're able to kind of support our many trail volunteers and to really create some just world-class trails. So that is kind of what we see as the next step.
Mm-hmm. And we're at Bison Butte right now, but when it comes to trails in Manitoba, it's so vast, so distinct, so unique. So you really want to, especially with the conference coming up on the 4th, connect all of those trailgoers.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, Manitoba is a uniquely distinct trail destination in that, you have the rock of the White Shell, you have the elevation of Western Manitoba, you have the unique experience of the North. I mean, they're even working on trail development up at Churchill right now. So Manitoba is really, really a unique space. And, for any of those who are Manitobans who are passionate about trails, when it comes to the advocacy, how do I make trails happen? How do I get involved in trails? Look, we invite you, contact us, reach out to Trails Manitoba to learn more about how you can become involved in the Trail Talks conference. Or if you're just like, look, I love what these guys are talking about, I want to get more involved, reach out to us and we can help you connect with the local people in your region, so that way you can get involved in trails and help make the future of Trails in Manitoba be as bright as Tim describes it to be. So,
when it comes to the future from your vantage point as well, what else are you guys working on?
I mean, we're working on a number of things behind the scenes to support trails. More to come on that, Ainsley. More to come. Got to leave everybody with a little bit of that. But the future of trails is so incredible. I mean, people are getting outside more than ever before. And, we're working on planning behind the scenes right now to really establish a firm base so that trails are supported. Not now, not next week, but really, truly for good. So, lots of great stuff coming up.
That conference is happening October 4th in Onanol. I tried to get the rest of the information out, but you're just going to have to keep your eyes peeled on social media.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. You can hear that breeze where Ainsley's at, and obviously it's happening here too.
Yeah, I know. I keep eating my hair, and it doesn't taste good this morning. I'd rather just bacon and eggs. That's my preferred breakfast. Got my rain gauge all ready here to collect. It's nice and upright. Hopefully it stays that way. Some stronger winds are expected. But when my rain gauge gets at kilter, I never collect the appropriate amount. So hopefully that's going to stay upright today. And we're probably within an hour of beginning to see those raindrops here in the city. 15 degrees. We're still dry at the moment. Heavier clouds have been stacking up all morning long, though, and the winds have been increasing. Hi, good morning. Winds have been increasing, gusting right now to 37 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 82%. So with the storm coming, showers and thunderstorms are possible all across southern Manitoba, whereas central and northern Manitoba, things will look a little bit brighter for you. You'll still have the sun shining over you. You'll still have some really nice temperatures. Although even here in the south, where things might look a little soggy or stormy, we'll still have some pretty decent temperatures, well above what you would expect this time of year. 19 degrees would be a normal daytime high. We're still likely to be up into those low to mid 20s, and we're going to stay there through the rest of the week, through the weekend, and next week. The showers and thunderstorms, they could continue off and on, beginning soon and continuing overnight and tomorrow. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Good morning. If you often order out on a delivery app, you're not alone. A new study is finding Canadians are choosing to cook less and order meals via apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats more than ever before. CTV's Joseph Bernacki examines why more people are opting for meal deliveries at home.
Not delivered to my house.
Marcus Marquez enjoys ordering meals to go on dining apps at all hours of the day.
Honestly, it depends on what's open, especially late at night. I usually order around midnight or an early
like 1 a.m., something like that.
Marquez says on average he uses meal app delivery services twice a month, but sometimes more often. And he's not alone. A new study from the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University finds more Canadians are ordering their meals to go right from home.
This is absolutely a lot of people's new kitchen right there.
Food expert Sylvain Charlebois recently led a research study surveying more than 3,000 people about their use of dining apps like Uber Eats and DoorDash. The study compared data collected in 2020 to new data gathered this summer. Charlebois says it shows more people are opting for online meal deliveries.
Back in 2020, just a few weeks before COVID, 1 in 5 Canadians were actually using food delivery apps on a regular basis. Now it's 1 in 4.
According to the survey, Manitoba ranks 4th in the country at 25.6%. Charlebois says more people are looking for convenience at the cost of skills learned while cooking.
They're looking to buy time, essentially. And the other issue, of course, is food literacy. A lot of people just either can't cook or don't want to cook at all.
Hearing less people are cooking is a big concern for nutritionist Andrea Cates.
When we just order things blindly and we're not looking at the ingredients list and we're not looking at the nutrition elements of that food, we're sort of leaving it up to chance with how that's going to make us feel.
Despite using food apps regularly, Marquez says he still makes time to get food the old-fashioned way.
I cook a lot. Yeah, like a couple days. I made breakfast today. Yeah, I do it a lot.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
From the gallery floor to the art legalities, curators, art enthusiasts, and artists are sharing their passions for art in a Winnipeg-based podcast. It's called the Artologue Podcast, and it delves deeply into the careers, laws, and galleries of the art world. Joining us now is the host and producer of the Artologue Podcast, Madison Beal. Good morning, Madison.
Hi, Michelle.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, this podcast is 2 years old already. You are an art historian at the University of Manitoba, so art has always been a part of your life since you were a little one, right? Tell me what it is about art that really draws passion in you.
I think just that it can be so varied. I realized that when I was a kid, it wasn't necessarily just what was hanging in institutions. It's also on the street, and it's a very vibrant and ever-changing thing.
But a lot of people would say, well, artists don't really make money, but there are ways that you can be quite successful in the art world, right?
Yeah, that's why I started the podcast. A lot of people think that there's only maybe 1 or 2 routes to working in the arts, maybe being an artist or a curator. But there's actually so many different ways that you can get involved in the arts, and that's what I explore on the podcast.
And of course, you teach it, and so what sort of response do you get from students when they hear about art? Do they get glazed over? Are they passionate about it? Are they excited about it? What do you see?
Well, I study art at the University of Manitoba, and I find that a lot of students, both in art history and in fine arts, get really excited about art history when it really clicks for them, when they find something that connects with their experience.
Okay, so tell us about this podcast and what started it all 2 years ago.
Well, I was working at a gallery here in Winnipeg, and I was being surrounded by all of these conversations with people working in the arts, so artists, curators, auctioneers, and things like that. And I realized just how valuable these conversations could have been to me as someone with no background in art. So that's why I started the podcast, as a way to share these conversations with people who are curious or want to get involved in art but don't know where to start.
Okay, and so what were some of the coolest conversations you've had so far in the last 2 years?
I think speaking with Guinevere Turner, who was the screenwriter for American Psycho, the film, that was really exciting. I love her writing, but obviously she's very well known for that and working on the L Word. So speaking with her was just incredible. I have an upcoming interview with Jean-François Bellil, who is the director of the National Gallery. And I'm really excited about that one. It was so interesting to learn more about how you steward such a large and important organization within Canada.
And what sort of response are you getting from the audience after some of these discussions air?
It's been really positive. I've had people send fan emails, so to speak. I've had people include my interviews in their academic research at a master's level, which was really cool. But a lot of people find that it's very interesting to learn more about such an opaque industry, and that I'm making it more approachable. People are really excited about that.
Okay, so right now, how many episodes can people listen to, and what's next for you?
I have 3 seasons fully completed, and I'm currently uploading the 4th season.
And so people can listen to the new season when?
Now. It's
on.
airing currently, yeah. I have a new episode coming out tonight with an artist called Bria Fernandez. She's a Winnipeg artist, and she has a show opening tonight at 1CO3 in Winnipeg.
Let's talk about the scene in Winnipeg. What's the art scene like here?
It's incredible. It's so supportive, and I think a lot of people overlook Winnipeg artistically, but there's such a rich history here for art, and not only a history, but a very exciting contemporary scene as well.
I love that. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing this. And if you want more information on the podcast, we do have a link on our website. Thank you and congrats.
Thank you, Rochelle.
All right, 15 degrees, and that breeze is increasing. So too are the clouds, and approaching is the storm. The winds right now out of the south are gusting to 37 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, and the humidity sitting at 82%. And I say the storm is approaching, and you can see it. Taking a look right now at the satellite image, moving through the southwestern corner of the province, but starting to clear out behind it. You might see a little more sunshine as the day goes on. Further to the west, further to the east, well, it's just we're still waiting. It's a waiting game for us before the showers and the thunderstorms roll over us. Parts of the northeast might see some showers or thunderstorms, like up around Churchill. Other places, maybe a few extra clouds. But for many places, it'll just be beautiful, bright, plenty of sunshine, plenty of heat as well. These temperature values, no matter where you are in the province, will be well above seasonal. And that includes here in the south, where it might be a little bit soggy or stormy to kick off your day. Or if it's not to kick off your day, it will eventually be moving through, like I said, later this morning, through the afternoon, overnight too. Showers, thunderstorms all through the southeast. Northwestern Ontario might remain a little bit sunnier and brighter for today, but overnight and tomorrow you too could find yourself in the path of that precipitation. Mild temperatures, though, they're expected to last through the weekend and well into the middle of next week. Our overnight lows are actually a lot closer to seasonal highs. 19 degrees, that's normal for this time of year, but expect some storms to be moving in. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center.
Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Well, before we say goodbye, we're going to send you off with some fun video. Meal times can be anything but boring when you have parents like this.
Dinner is...
This dad turned dinner time into a table-side show. Forget plates. All you need for a feast like this is a tablecloth, a big pot of spaghetti and meatballs, and a very creative family.
Okay, that's fun until he put the parm on the girl's head. I'm like, just put it in my mouth.
Oh, he put it on her head? I missed that part.
Just put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
It's big enough. Like, ah.
Well, the Vancouver Canucks have been gearing up for another NHL season with the help of a furry teammate. Oh yeah, this is cute. Take a look at forward Elias Peterson going for a skate with the official Canucks pup, Eddie, who's also a BC guide dog.
Eddie's got some impressive traction on that ice.
Yeah, how does he do it? He's so happy.
That's why they need the claws.
And then finally, it's not every day you see a strength and agility test quite like this. Oh. Talk about parkour. Like, look at this. Oh! It's like a whole other level. Good for him. These athletes all took their turn trying to jump and land on this pole in a lake. Out of 9, only 4 landed.
Only 4? I'm impressed that even 1 landed.
I would probably land with my face. That's the problem.
That's why we don't do tricks like this. It's in our contract. We're not allowed.
Break my 2 front teeth. No, thank you.
That's wild. Who even comes up with that? Who came up with that?
And why? Well, that does it for us.
For our entertainment.
We'll see you tomorrow.